All right. Let's hope this works out well. Let's go. All right, we're live. Cool, cool. Can I pop this out? That would be amazing. Oh, yes. Cool. And actually, I do want to plug this in. Cool. Alrighty then. Happy, what the hell's today? Saturday? Saturday, not Friday. I thought today was still Friday. Tomorrow is the day for the, tomorrow's the day for the Batman drop, and I'm stoked for that. I'm not sure how much of a big deal it is that it's the first appearance or it's the first drop of the battle statue. I'm not sure how relevant that's going to be, but I think it'll be pretty good. I usually have good luck with the collectible drops. It's the comic drops I am absolutely terrible at. In the meantime, we have about 30 minutes until the market refreshes here on ecomi.wiki. But in the meantime, I know we've been, like, I just released a video talking about huge if we get it, we do. Like, I think I called out almost everything. In my last stream, I was looking at it, I was like, okay, most of the black and white series is 80 gems. I think it's going to be anywhere between 80 to 120, most likely like closer to 120. I said it really depends if it's less than 10,000 mints or more than 10,000 mints. I'm like, if it's less than 10,000 mints, which it is, I think it's 888 or whatever, 999. It's going to be a pretty big deal. It'll probably go for, you know, north of 1,000 or whatever it is, pretty quickly. Possibly 2,000. I have no idea. I don't think people could care less that it's a Killer Croc first appearance, but it's mostly just, it's the first Batman NFT we've had in like 9 months, and it's him beating something up, which is always cool, right? Plus, it could be a new line of the battle statues, which is really cool. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at the big gainers right now. Wow, Bubbles really took off. Isn't this the one I said to... No, it's not. This is a different one. Not Bubbles, but Buttercup and the other one. Bubbles really took off. Kind of makes me think that will explode. Did you forget it will explode? Yeah. I would love to get one. Price prediction, I have no idea. It wouldn't surprise me if it reaches 3K though, like temporarily on the, like the initial hype of like the market. It'll probably touch 3K and then go back down to like low 2000s. I could definitely see that. Now, like thinking about it, but who knows? I actually do pretty well on the collectible drops. I do the best on blind box, but these little like solo drop collectibles, they usually do pretty well. Almost was at 60, almost hitting 100. Exactly, dude. Mason Fuzzy, nice to see you, dude. Hello, Mr. Fantastic or Storm Common. I would... Part of me really wants to say Storm because she's the first appearance of Storm as well as the X-Men. Let me look them up real quick. Kind of just like look at some market stuff real quick. So she's at 80, which is still pretty decent. It's crazy to think that she was going for like 36 gems not too long ago. Like 35 gems, was that 3 weeks ago? Yeah, a little over 3 weeks ago, probably about a month. Going for like 35 gems, and so she's peaked at 136. I think Storm Common is very, very solid. Again, she has that double... she has that double FA going of like Storm as well as X-Men. But Mr. Fantastic... I mean, he's good too. I will say, like, you can get double the amount of him. Not exactly double because he's 50 gems. But, I mean, you could basically get, you know, 3 Mr. Fantastics for every 2 storms you get, right? Something along those lines. This one's pretty good too. I think the biggest catalyst for Mr. Fantastic is when they release him with that new Fantastic Four series they got going on. You know, Sue Storm, how the newest one they released of her. Eventually, they're going to do the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch. So when that happens, it's going to be a big catalyst. You'll rocket up in price. So if you have a bunch of them, that's going to be awesome. Probably what I would do, like, if I did buy Mr. Fantastic, I would wait for this dip to kind of finish, buy them up, wait for the dip to finish, wait till it kind of plateaus off, you know, a few weeks from now, whatever, however long it's going to take. It could take a few days, no one knows. And then I would just list a couple at each increment. So, like, let's say it plateaus at 60. Because where was that before? Yeah, 70, whatever. So let's say it plateaus a little bit lower, 65. I'd put some up at like 70, put some up at 75, put some up at 80. So that way, if there was a Mr. Fantastic announcement and you miss it, at least you're able to make some money on the way up, because once it reaches its peak, it's pretty much done. It's going to come back down. And that's basically Invisible Woman. When they announced Invisible Woman, it shot up to, I don't know, 300 gems. And it was there for probably like 15, 20 minutes. And then it went back down almost immediately. So if you want to try and cash in those profits as it's going up, that's probably the best way to do it. So you're not holding them. Because if you try to make profit after it's hit its peak and you're trying to like undercut people, it's just not going to work. So that would be my thing. Overall, I would say Storm, personally. I think Storm longer term is probably the better bet. Even though I gave a whole spiel about how Mr. Fantastic, I just kind of want to explain how I would do it if I was to like stack him pretty hard. Mark says, me too. Cool, cool. BMN, I think you're new. I don't think I remember seeing you before. What's your price prediction for tomorrow's drop on secondary market? I mean, the Bat Croc. Gotta be careful when you say that, because it could get you in trouble on YouTube. So, the Bat Croc. Croc with a hard R. Croc. It's hard to say. Like, I was able to call that it was going to be sub probably 10,000 mids. It was probably going to be closer to 120, maybe 100 gems. I think it'll touch 3K briefly during the initial market hype. So, you know, people are going to, of course, list it for... I think people are going to list it for like... Of course, you're going to have people that are going to list it for like 10K and like 6K and all that stuff. But eventually, it's going to like go down to 2. And then people are going to start buying it back up to 3, like 3.3. Then it's going to settle, in my opinion, around like the mid 2s, low 2s. I have no idea. I'm literally just pulled all of that out of my butt. But we'll see. So, but that's price prediction stuff is just so hard. Like, okay, it's the first appearance of Killer Croc, which I think most people don't really care about. But it's the first battle statue, which is a big deal. It's the first Batman statue we've had, or just Batman IP we've had in like 9 months. So that could just give it a bit of hype. So that's why I'm kind of thinking it'll probably be around 3K. It's hard to say. Mark, sell 5-stack zombie Spideys for a rare Spidey? Yes. I'm assuming you mean of the common Spideys, right? Or the common zombie hunter Spideys? Yes. I actually got quite a few gems, like low 4 digits, and so I'm contemplating. Part of me is kind of waiting, but I definitely, in my most recent video, I did say like I'm having my eye on things like the rare Spidey. I thought I had a list pulled up. Let me see. I'll pull it up for you guys. Save you a little bit of time. I did put up a video like literally less than an hour ago talking about my buys that I would do, at least as of right now, the way the market is. So if you have like 2,000 gems, 1,000 gems, 500, or if you have 100 gems, what are some of the, like, the better investments that you can do in the meantime? Sorry. Okay, clear all this. See if I can shift this over. Should be able to. Okay, just making sure it's not like showing anything. Cool. Today, Junior? All right, there we go. So this was, oh gosh, that looks terrible. Let me zoom in for you guys. So you guys can kind of see. This was like my very loose script of this is my very loose script of like the things I would suggest you guys like look into. So below 2,000, like Joker is insane. I'll go through all of these if you guys want, each one, even though I literally made a video about it. FA Joker, last time I checked, was around like 1.4K. He was 2,000 or like 2,100 4 or 5 days ago. Like literally 30%, 40% discount. Rare Spider-Man was at like 2K. Now he's at 1.3, I believe. Like he's really cheap right now. Iron Man was at 3K, 3.2K. I bought him like for 650 gems like a month ago. So pretty good deal on that. I've just been holding him. So he was 3.3, now he's like 2,000. I think sub 2,000 right now, which is ridiculous. And the Joe Mad Batman, I think is a pretty good like mid to high-ish tier of the Batmans, and it's definitely went down. I think it was at like 2.4 before, now it's at 1.6, I believe. Not entirely sure. And then below 1,000, ultra rare Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. I think it's like right at 1,000. FA Harley Quinn, both of the Jaunty Jig and like the Happy Whistle Mickey. Happy Whistle Mickey is like 1.2-ish, so if you can afford it, that's pretty decent. Dr. Doom and Red Skull Marvel Mighties. Like if you're bullish on Marvel Mighties, I think those are good pickups. My 2 videos ago talked about how I think the Veve villains are like underrated comparatively. Below 500, Bubbles and Buttercup. Did I put Bubbles? I meant to put, maybe it was Bubbles. And then all the Snow Globes. Literally all the Snow Globes are below 200 right now, except for the Secret Rare, which is a really good deal in my opinion. And then below 100, I would stack like Deadpools, Groots, DeLoreans, Ecto-1s, Common Alligator Lokis. Common Alligator Lokis are like 75 right now, and they were like 130 literally a few days ago, so hope that was helpful. I know I just went on like a big tangent right there, but those are some of the things I kind of loosely recommend. I know there's everything is discounted so much, like you could literally just throw a dart at a dartboard with a bunch of names on it and like you'll make profit. It's just a matter of which ones will be the most profitable earliest, right? Like that's the whole point. So let me catch up with chat. Neva, I'm so bamboozled with this announcement with Minnie Mouse. I like it. I so wish she was in like a 3D. Holy moly. I so wish she was in a like 3D statue format, just like Steamboat Willie, but she looks like she's gonna be like a poster or some sort of like card. So I think she would do way better if she was like that, but it is what it is. Like when I saw that announcement, I immediately looked at Steamboat Willie. So I'm like, are these gonna pump? Because it's like Mickey and Minnie, but then I look closer, I'm like, wait, it's like a card or like a poster. Like, okay, like not the biggest fan of announcing her as an FA like that, but it is what it is. Knight Rider, do you think we could see that prices will go down more than the moment because of the mini announcement? Not so much the mini announcement, in my opinion. It's more that I think people are just going to be, even though we still have a full month until February, I think people are still going to be a little reserved until February just because of Pokemon, potentially. It's so up in the air, but I will admit, like, between Alfred Kahn, Jeremy Padawar, and it being like the 25th anniversary of Pokemon and all the Niantic stuff that's been like leaked out about them being partnered, like a lot of stars are aligning. Do I think it's going to happen? Honestly, no. But I think the market is going to be very hesitant to like rebound really hard within the next month. We could see prices approach like what they were like a few days ago, but I don't think it's like, I don't see things doubling or tripling in pricing, surpassing what they were prior, like in the near future. At least like me personally. Again, I could be completely wrong. It also really depends on if they announce any other IPs between now and like end of February, right? Still waiting on that Labyrinth announcement. Not that I really care that much about the Labyrinth thing, but they did say Q1 of 2022, so that's another IP that's people are getting ready for, I would imagine. Jeremy Pilas, okay. Mason Fuzzy, do you think prices will dip more on market from where they are? Potentially. If they don't come out with some more announcements soon, either we're going to see a very aggressive rebound shortly after Batman, or yeah, it could go either way, to be honest. I have no idea. It's so speculative because like literally all it takes is one tweet for the market to freak out. Either a tweet from Veve official and they're announcing a new IP, or a tweet from one of the big name investors and they're like, yo, I bought a bunch of these, or this leaked, or whatever it is. Like, the market is just so finicky. Not finicky, but just like trigger happy when it comes to like any kind of a little announcement or nuance or leak or anything like that. So plus all the stuff that's happening with the like crypto market, I think that's also affecting the dip too. But it goes the other way too, because I know a lot of people are actually cashing out of crypto and going into NFTs instead, which means we're just going to have more money or more gems injected into the market potentially over the next like month or so. So many catalysts, so many push and pull things happening that it's hard to tell like what's really going to happen. Now, I'd imagine like if anyone told you like, if anyone tells you like they know exactly what's going to happen next month, like, oh, market's going to go down, market's going to go up, like, personally, I think they're full of it, but it is what it is. Mauricio Ariano, what's up? Oh my God, I'm about to panic sell my whole collection. It's like, yeah, I actually posted a tweet. I was like, if you guys are curious what I'm selling, I said like, here's what I have for sale on the market if you guys are curious. And it just shows like no collections for sale. If you click on listings on the market, like I don't have anything to sell. Like I have like a dozen NFTs that I want to sell, but I'd rather just wait. Market's gonna rebound at some point. Sooner, like it's gonna happen, I think, sooner than most people realize. Some people are afraid that like the market's just gonna freeze and crypto's just gonna keep crashing for like 2 years. Like, who knows? Knight Rider, especially in the Myrmicornos, they will go down a little bit more besides the secret rare potentially, yeah. Ultra Rare Spider-Man or the uncommon Steamboat Willie? I would say, those are both really good. I've always liked the Spider-Mans because I feel like anytime there's any hype around one of them, whether it's like Ben Reilly or the secret rare Spider-Man, I don't think so much that like, oh, if the floor of secret rare Spider-Man goes up to like $250,000, all of a sudden all the other Spider-Mans are just gonna get pulled up in price, but it will bring eyes to the Spider-Mans, right? It's hard to say. I would say Uncommon Mickey would probably bring you a higher return, but like not by much though. I'm not saying like this is gonna be, and that's the other thing too, like how long you're looking to hold. I think Steamboat Willie might bring you a higher return, but the secret rare Spider-Man, you'd be able to sell easier, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Not exactly sure where I was going with that. Falanini? Falanini. Sup, vibes? I like your Toy Story icon. Mauricio says, right now is not a good time to buy. I feel prices might dip down more. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you feel like they're going to dip more, you could definitely just keep holding your gems. That's what I even put in the comment of my most recent video. I said, again, this is just my opinion. Like, there is a chance the market could just keep dipping. Like, who knows? We did have 3 consecutive weeks of just pumping. Like, pump, plateau, like, for 3 weeks straight after the 12 days of Veve. So who knows? We might be in a recovery phase for quite some time. What else? But also, like, you can't go wrong too with just buying now and just waiting till this is over. Like, everything's going to return at the same, if not way higher than where it is today, or even a couple days ago. Jeez. Some loud cards going by. Let's see. Knight Rider says, what do you think will be long-term more valuable, Wonder Woman or Zombie Hunter Spider-Man UR? I'd say Wonder Woman. Plus the 2.5% fee is really nice. I believe Wonder Woman might have less mints. Maybe not, because she's a common. Wonder, hello? There she is. 1,000 mints, 1150 right now. Let's kind of see what she's doing. And that's one thing too. I think a lot of people are maybe a little bit too focused on the mints. Like, eventually we're gonna get to the point where like things below 20,000 mints like don't matter. Things below 30,000 mints just won't matter because there's just so many people on the app right now, or like people looking to buy the stuff. 1,000 issues. Okay, so she's peaked at like 15.5. Let's look at, just type in zombie. There's not that many zombie things going on here. The ultra rare, 3,800 mints, so way less. That's the thing, like, just the fact that Zombie Hunter is already tied to the current Spider-Mans that exist is a pretty big deal. 1,800. I mean, Spider-Man has had a higher peak. I mean, Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, I think, is a very strong buy right now. The ultra rare, especially, it's a pretty strong buy. I think it's a toss-up between Wonder Woman and Spider-Man, but I think Wonder Woman has a higher ceiling. Like, ultra rare Spider-Man might like go higher initially, like the first like year or something like that, but like maybe 2-3 years and like beyond that, like Wonder Woman will be higher. Not entirely sure, but just because there are a lot of other Spider-Mans as well. Like that's another thing kind of working against it. Fallonini, sorry if I'm like butchering your guys' names. What do you think about the Darwin Cook Batman? You think it will spike long term? And that's the other thing too. Like I would love to hear, because everyone's idea of long term is different. Some people long term is a year. Some people it's 5 years. Some people it's like literally 6 months until I find something better or whatever. Like, so I'd love to know like what you guys think is like long term in general. Geez, I was typing in long term because that's what I was thinking about. Darwin Cook Batman. I'll just type in Cook. It should pull it up. Darwin Cook Batman. I don't mind the look of this one. It's like not my favorite, but it's definitely not the worst looking Batman. I mean, I think all the Batmans are going to do well. I mean, he's peaked at 350. He's at 235 right now, which is pretty decent. I mean, you can even just look here. Like, there's a lot of people that probably bought between 200 and 350, which means that it's going to get up to those prices much quicker than what it was prior. So, but I mean, there's a lot of people down here too. I mean, I think it'll do well. Like, literally any of the black and white series stuff will do well. I do think in like the near future, a lot of the cheaper NFTs will go up higher percentage wise over like the more expensive stuff, but like the more expensive will obviously bring a higher return dollar for dollar. But it'll take you longer to sell these off too. Like, it's just the fact that it's going to take you longer to sell 10 NFTs at $200 than it does selling one NFT at $1,000, right? That's just how it's going to be. The biggest bro, what's up, dude? I have to check out that logo. It's kind of hard to see on the screen. I feel like Veve is dropping a recur NFT before recur can with the mini drop. True. I haven't really done that much research into recur at all. Like, I mean, they got some good IPs and stuff like that, but like, I think by the time they're like off the ground and like with any kind of like regularly scheduled like NFT thing, like it's gonna be like 6 months from now, and Veve's already running with other stuff, potentially Pokemon, like who knows. Give me 1 second, guys, hold on. All right, how's the music sound, by the way? It's not like too loud or anything, right? It's most meant to be just like background music. John Van oh god, Van Visek. I'm just gonna say John. I apologize. Smash the like button. I appreciate that. I'm not like too hyped about people like smash the like button, subscribe. I'm just, if you like it, press like. I do forget to press the like button as well on occasion, but I don't think there's a lot of like Veve streamers streaming right now, so I felt like now is a good time to get it going. Now, if there was like 15 or 20 other Veve streamers going right now, maybe the like button would help. Ilmatix, yo, my god, Veve vibes. What's up, Ilmatix? I like seeing the same names over and over. It means you guys are enjoying my content. I'm bringing some value for the most part, because I don't think there's a lot of Veve streamers or just content creators that get like the nitty gritty of breaking down numbers and talking about things that like aren't grails I feel like so many other content creators just talk about like, oh my god, Spider-Man 100,000 and Walt's at 40,000 and Superman is at like almost 8,000 and Todd is at 14. Like it's like, okay, cool, but you know 99% of the people on the Veve app can't afford that, right? Like they either just were just too late, or they only joined in the last few months, or they just can't afford it, like just their financial situation. Like who cares? But it's like way more people. Like I'm more interested in talking about how you're going to flip your way from a handful of Myrmicornos up to, you know, an FA Harley Quinn, like going from a few hundred gems or even just 100 gems all the way up to something that's like 500 or 900 gems. Like it's doable. There's just not a lot of people talking about it. And even like the technique too, people are like, oh, just stack this. And it's like, okay, well, I'll stack it, but how do I sell it? Like the whole thing I explained with Mr. Fantastic, like I think it's actually a good idea to list some at incremental values as it's going up, especially if you have like 10 or something like that. So that way you'll notice on your app, like, hey, this sold, and it's up to you whether you want to start pulling those higher listings if you think it's going to really run up, or you just leave them and you just take the profit and you just send it somewhere else, right? Barry did an oopsie. What's up, dude? What do you think the Adventure Time set could do good? I think the Adventure Time set is extremely slept on. I know it's like not the strongest IP, but it's like Cartoon Network. It's one of like their best shows that Cartoon Network has had in a while. It's like one of their better shows. I think at one point they had like 3 million like reoccurring viewers like watching the show. On top of that, it's the second series ever released on the platform. So there's like Todd and Rizzo, and like the very next one is Adventure Time. Like that was the very next like release of NFTs. I think they're just getting slept on because DC, Marvel, and Disney they're just so strong IPs. Like they're just overshadowing them. It'll take some time. I do think like they're very strong IPs. Like I think if you buy them at all when they're below like 200-300 gems, especially like Jake the Dog and Finn, it'll be solid like long term. Will the other IPs like do better long term or like in the short term? Yes, but again, there's so many things you could buy that are profitable. It's just when and how much, right? That's always the question. But yes, I do. I'll pull them up real quick. I feel like when someone asks about an IP or like a series of NFTs, I should at the very least pull them up. Okay, so Adventure Time. Let's take a look at like Finn. I remember when Finn started really running up like randomly, like a month ago, maybe like a month and a half ago. Like this was when I was only like a month or two into the Veve app. Like yeah, like right around here. He was at like 90 gems and he ran up to 113. And back then that was nuts. We're just like, oh my god, like this thing went up 40%. Like that is crazy, you know, or 50%. Like that's unheard of. But now we have things like this where NFTs are just doubling and tripling in price like quite literally overnight. You like wake up the next morning and your stuff is triple the price. Or that NFT you were kind of chasing for a bit, like, all right, I'm saving up for this NFT, and then you're like, oh god, it just ran up 30%. Like, all right, just forget it. Like I've been there before. You know, it's like right around here. It was like 75 gems and then like kind of snuck up on people when it hit 90, then it just ran up to 130. I still think like even at this point at 172, like I always try to mention this, like people just throw away the fact that like, oh, well, it went to 260, but only for a day or a couple days. But like just the fact that people bought up to this point, like how many of it? So 117 to 90, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but again, we're only talking 7,500 mints. Like that's quite a few people between basically 145 to 260 that have bought in, and like you would hope they're going to hold. Like who knows, some might sell for a loss, but these are all people that have bought in above where it's at now, you know, above. So 174 all the way up to 260. Like there's quite a few buyers there, like in that range, that are going to hold on to it. So I do think it's going to like rebound pretty quick, but how far is it going to go? It really depends. Same thing with Jake the Dog. I do think these are both great holds. Like I remember when both of these were like 250 like 3 days ago. Not Finn, obviously he went up a while ago, but like Jake the Dog was like 250 like not too long ago. Yeah, 300, holy crap. 320, like don't disregard these peaks. Like they were there at some point, right? If you're looking for a quick flip, these aren't the ones I would suggest. But if you're looking to hold these for like 6 months minimum, like, and you want to find a way to sell it off or take some profit, I do think these are pretty solid. Don't know too much about Princess Bubblegum. Like it's just crazy. Like these are all below 200. Even Ice King, dude, Ice King. I'm surprised Ice King is down to 230. Didn't he push like 450? I haven't paid too much attention to at least like Ice King, but I do know some people like him a lot. Okay, 350. But still. Like, they're solid, but again, I think they're just so overshadowed by the big three that currently exist on the platform. The biggest pro long term for me is 5 to 6 years, yes. And yeah, I agree. 5 to 6 years, but it's like how many people are actually committed to doing that? I've done that before. I was like, I have this NFT, I'm not going to sell it for 3 years until I saw another NFT or there's a drop, and I'm like, oh, okay, like what about now? Like, I don't want to doubt your guys' conviction. Like, I'm sure when you guys say long term, like I believe you. I'm just curious, like how long term is to certain people. Knight Rider, long term for me is minimum 1 year and 3 years. Okay. Sorry, did I pass some stuff? I think I overlooked some, messages earlier. The biggest bro, by the way, I'm here from Randy's Wall. Good investment. Sorry about that. And then Mauricio, crypto in a bear market. Let's go. More time for cheap OMI. Dude, that's awesome. Okay. I will admit, I don't have any OMI because I honestly don't have a lot of like dough in general to like put into OMI. At some point, like I was like gonna try and get a credit card and like buy in a little bit of OMI like when I can and just pay it off later. But I would love to be able to like, I know this is not gonna happen, but like NFT to OMI, where I can just like sell my NFTs for OMI, like that would be amazing. But you know, you can't. I think my play might be like try and sell some of my NFTs in Immutable X for Ethereum, and then be able to sell the Ethereum, I believe, for like USD, and then buy that with OMI. Like, I haven't done that much research into like how I'm gonna navigate that. I would love to get OMI, but I just can't afford it right now. At least like in the quantities that I would like to put in. Like most of my net worth, I'll be honest, like is in Veve, just because I've gotten lucky. I've done a lot of flipping. I spent a lot of time here. Like I make more money doing this than like doing what I'm currently doing. So. Yeah, holy crap, I skipped quite a few messages. Your thoughts on Iron Man? John, I said that earlier. I think Iron Man is a super solid investment. Like, I was fortunate enough to buy him a long time ago, like a month ago for like 650 or something like that. But like, the fact that he is sub 2,000 is pretty ridiculous. He went up to 3,300 or 3,200 like 4 days ago. Was that long? Yeah, like literally 4 days ago, he was 3,200. Like, he's an FA Iron Man. It's a golden moment. I think it's a very solid, like, some of the strongest buys right now, in my personal opinion, is ultra rare Spider-Man, ultra rare zombie hunter Spider-Man, like the $1,000 version. Iron Man is very, very strong as well. Like, if it goes down any further, it's like half price. Yeah, like if it literally went down like 400 more gems or like 300 more gems, it would be like half price than what it was 4 days ago. And again, like these peaks, it means that people are willing to pay this much to actually get it to this point. So, okay, now I think I caught up with chat. But thanks. It's the biggest bro, dude. It's awesome to hear that, like, my investment, dude. Like, that was a good chunk. It's not a big chunk of my investment, but like it was a good chunk of my investment to basically give Randy that many common alligator Lokis. And of course I bought them at 100 too. Like, I negotiated with Randy, I gave him 2 alligator Lokis, and he's like, all right, I'll put you up for a month. And then he was on stream and he was in a good mood, and I was stacking alligator Lokis anyway, and then we kind of negotiated. So I gave him 17 total to get myself on the wall for the next month, or for the next year. And I bought them all at 100. Then of course this happens, like 2 days later, the market crashes, it goes down to like 75 gems. I'm like, oh, I could have saved 300-400 gems if I just waited 2 days, but it's still worth the investment. Like, I'm just happy to be on his wall. He's an awesome content creator. Like, he's easily the most, like, he's like the poster child of Veve, in my personal opinion, when it comes to like content creators. Like, very honest, lovable, heavily invested in OMI, which is why, like, I would have not have done that for like a different content creator, because like the dude literally has everything he has in OMI as well as Veve. Like, I wasn't gonna probably do something similar to that to like another Veve content creator that's just obviously here just for the money, but also like could flake out in 3 months, or like could sell all of his stuff and be done with Veve. Like, you know what I mean? But he's awesome. Can't say enough good shit about him. Long term for me is minimum 1 year and max 3 years. Okay. I mean, Interesting you put a max on it. It's like, up 3-year mark, time to sell. I guess it depends. Maybe you have something lined up in 3 years. I don't know. All right, it's up to you. That's awesome. The biggest bro, would you rather hold long-term Wally or common Steamboat Willie? I would say Steamboat Willie. Like, as much as I love Wally, it's a golden moment. First appearance of Wally. Steamboat Willie is pretty huge. And, yeah. Like, where's Wally at right now? Let's actually just pull up all the golden moments. Golden moments. And looks like we might have had like a market update like 10 minutes ago. Where's Wally at? Is Wally really like hovering around 1,000? Where's Wally at? All right, 1290. For 1290, you can get an uncommon Steamboat Willie. Like, you don't need a common, right? Is that what you asked? Was it uncommon or common? Common. You could get an uncommon Steamboat Willie for a Wally. They're like the same. They're like roughly the same price. I would go with the uncommon because obviously less mints, and some people like the whistle over the whatever one. Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, like Wally is considered the lowest tier, arguably NFT. Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, I would say Skateboard, Pizza Planet, Truck, and Wally are like of the bottom tier. They're still golden moments. They're still Disney IPs. They're still going to do very well. Like, they're not going to like heavily crash anytime soon. They're not going to crash like your typical NFT. 1,300 is still not a bad price point, but I just think there's other NFTs that are going to do better. Like the first appearance Joker, uncommon Steamboat Willie, ultra rare Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. Like, I do think those would do better overall. Let's go ahead and close this one. Okay. I'm just gonna close that one because that other one's lagging. Unless I need to refresh both. Oof, we got some lag here. Okay, there we go. Oh, we caught up. I think it's because, yeah, this ecomi wiki site, I love it, but if you search up too many things or if you load too many things in the market, it will lag your computer. At least like lag the browser, so you have to like refresh it and stuff. So. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's the golden moments. Good music, thank you. I'm just putting on some chill vibes on YouTube. Non-copyrighted, of course. You gotta keep it non-copyrighted. Illmatics, always bro. Been watching your vids a lot lately. Subscribe to this man, no cap, dude. I really appreciate it. I think it's really hard for like, especially like as old school or as like. You know, the community's pretty well set. Like people that have started really early, like Veve Vault, Veve Vision, even though I think they started probably just a few months before I did on YouTube. Like this YouTube channel is like a month and a half old, maybe a bit older. I've been on the platform for I think 3.5 months, and but like whenever I'm into something, I just obsess over it. I watch hundreds of videos and like dozens of videos, hundreds of hours. And I think I've done a pretty good job of like flipping up to the point where I'm at now. So, and I figured, and I've always been interested in like the lower and like mid tier like market stuff. I mean, I do have opinions on like Grails, but I think sometimes a lot of people that give advice for NFTs, like they just bought Grails. Either they're really, really early on the app and they've never needed to like do a lot of flipping like in the last 9 months to like actually afford stuff, or they jumped on the app the last year and they put a ton of money into the platform and they just bought Grails and like, but they don't know what it's like to flip from, you know, 200 gems up to where you are now, or to flip from 2,000 gems and get a 15,000 gem like NFT or something like that. So I've been there and done that, but like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go off too much in a tangent on that. Knight Rider, what do you think will be the long-term, more valuable Adventure Time Series 1 set, or the first ever release stamps on Veve Day of the Dead stamps? It's hard to tell. Like, I used to be pretty bullish on stamps, but like it just has not been moving that much. And I think it's just because, again, there's just so many other like bigger name IPs, and I would argue you know, a lot of people that are into stamp collecting, maybe that age group isn't too familiar with like things like NFTs or just like crypto or anything related to that. So it's unlikely that that the heavy hitting stamp collectors are on here. Eventually they will, I would think so. But I just feel like these guys have not moved that much recently. So like we'll even look at the where's the common? Yeah, we'll look at the common Day of the Dead Child. I just feel like they've just been very stagnant. I had a few of these and like I made small profit, but like don't really care to return to it that much. Okay, so it had a nice peak about 228. Oh, it's 137, but like this whole area, it was just chilling between, which is good margin, like between 100 and like 140. Like there's some area to make some profit. I do know another small thing that probably holds it back is that 4.5% fee, which is kind of weird. Like it seems like a lot of things either have 2.5% or 8.5% because of the Disney Marvel. But yeah, the U.S. Postal Service stuff does have a 4.5% fee, which is why I think it's just been doing this, you know, for a solid almost 3 months now. But like the set, I could see Adventure Time like doing better. I know there's like massive stamp collectors out there, but I don't have a clue. I hope that helped. Let me catch up with chat. I don't think I've had this many people like chatting in here before, so I'm trying to catch up. Okay, this is good. What do you think about that? I think Purse's bubble gum will pump this month. I think so too. She's actually very... I think she's probably the most undervalued one, like percentage-wise, but like I think just Finn and Jake the dog are the most popular, so you can't go wrong with those either. Princess Bubblegum might take a minute to come around, but I do think she is basically like the lowest priced one, I believe. Pokemon Day, February 27th. Boom? Question mark? Yeah, not sure, AT. Not sure how that's gonna play out. Also, I need to remember to say your guys' names as I'm like reading the chat. I'm not sure. I know a lot of people are speculating that it's gonna happen. I'll be honest, I kind of hope it doesn't, because there's a lot of kinks in the app and bots and like a lot of other stuff I think they need to kind of like smooth out before they do Pokemon. But then again, it just makes sense. Like Alfred Cod, Jeremy Padawar, the whole leak thing, and then Niantic like working on like the Veve-verse and it being the 25th anniversary. Like a lot of things are lighting up, and like this last month has been very slow, like very slow for announcements. So it's almost like they're trying to catch up with trying to touch up some NFTs potentially. Who knows? It's literally all speculation, but it's nice to dream though. Andrew Breen says partner statues price end of the year conservative / optimistic. There's literally countless catalysts that could make it go to 100K or $250,000. Like there's so many things that could pump it up so high. Like who knows? Like Disney could introduce some crazy utility to it in like July or like right before July summer, where they're trying to encourage people to come to their parks, buy stuff online. Depends on like Veve-verse, if people could post their stuff and trade it, and if you're able to rent out NFTs so people can utilize the, you know, make use of the utility. Like there's so many things that could happen between now and the end of the year. But if I had to like throw out like two numbers, I would say like 80 to 120K. I would say like that's like the range. I don't know. Like those long-term price predictions, like it's so hard to tell. Narrator could be the Ultraman uncommon long-term more valuable than Wonder Woman, because in Asia more people like Ultraman than Spider-Man, Superman, or Mickey. Haven't done a lot of research with Ultraman. I've heard of a lot of conflicting information with that. Like I'm not too familiar with like the Southeast Asian market. Like I've seen people in chat claim that they're from China or Japan or places like that. You know, there's no way to tell or confirm, but a lot of people have said like this Ultraman, technically, this Ultraman isn't the original Ultraman that a lot of the people in like Southeast Asia are familiar with. You can see right here, Shinjiro is the son of the first Ultraman. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Is the son of the first Ultraman. And I guess this version of him, some people were saying that the posters are actually posters of like the OG version, but like the actual NFTs, like the figures aren't that, as far as I know. And so that could be a thing. Some people made the equivalent. It's like, it's cool, but it's like the Marvel Mighty version of like Ultraman, like the way that the current NFTs are. I could be completely wrong on that. Like, I don't know. I haven't really looked that much into it. I'm just glad that I sold my Voltron set. I bought it because I thought it was cool, held the set, got the master collector points. And then once the whole information about Chinese were like legalizing NFTs and all that, the pump happened. I was like, I think it's a good time to sell. Like I was like, cool, if they legalize NFTs, it still could take them 6 months to a year to like figure that stuff out, the legality of it. Haven't really looked too much into it, but I think it could still be a good thing. But I would overall, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of money in the U.S. and people that are familiar with like Spider-Man, Superman, Wonder Woman, Captain America, like those people, Mickey, yeah. So I think it's just a safer bet to invest in like more world-renowned superheroes than like very regional superheroes, and just kind of banking on that, I guess, if that makes sense. Are you stacking? When did you start? I think I answered that, Puzzle Master, a little while ago, and you probably asked that after or before I answered. I started about 3.5 months ago. Right now, I'm currently stacking some NFTs. I'm trying to sell those off to basically eventually afford a Todd. And then once I do that, I do have a pretty nice handful of NFTs that I own, like a couple grails here and there and stuff like that. So my plan is to basically keep stacking and or flipping in different NFTs that I think they're going to do well until I can afford one of the grails, then just keep recycling that over and over. It's like make enough till I can afford a Superman or a Todd or whatever else, and then use my remaining gems just to play drops, keep stacking stuff, keep flipping. Like I enjoy the flipping game. Like I don't think I would ever be done flipping and like playing the market. Like I enjoy it too much. As much as I could just like invest, I could just spend more time just invest in the grails, cash out, and like just get grails and just sit on them for 5 years. Like I like playing the game of the market, trying to find cheap deals, trying to find ways to stack, different techniques of like selling stuff on the market. Like I enjoy that stuff. Let's see here. How do you decide when to hodl or sell? For example, when will you sell your grails? I would say it depends more on kind of like where I'm at with my life. Like personally, just like financially and all that stuff. Like if I really, really need the money, like I'll, obviously sell it at a certain point and cash it out. I'm not at that point yet, obviously, but yeah, it's just one of those things. I guess you just won't know until you're there, right? Yeah, and it's hard to tell because like every time, like I've done a lot of flipping and hodling and stuff, and like every time it's always been like too soon, right? But like when you just look at the prices of stuff, it's pretty much almost every NFT on the platform on average is going up and to the right, just on average. So it's kind of hard to know when to sell. But I do think there will be a point. Could take a year, could take 3 years from now, could take a few years after the Veveverse is out and like the NFTs start finally plateauing. People like NFTs start finding their price and their utility and like their worth in the Veveverse. So I mean, there will be a time where there will like hit a plateau-ish thing, right? Like the reason why the market is just going crazy because there's a lot of people like looking for quick profit, people that are looking to hold for like the next 5 to 10 years, people that are waiting for MTL, people that are trying to wait for the Veveverse and trying to make a cool stuff like who knows, but there's a whole lot of people waiting to do that. Okay, music's still going. It's just I guess it's quiet in between these two songs. What's next? Real talk. How do you decide when to? Okay, you already asked that. You already asked that question. Carl Nodoff. Sorry if I butchered that. Avengers logo is the worst. I don't think it's the worst. It's definitely in the lower tier. It's probably down in that tier with like Pizza Planet logo and all that stuff. But I do hard agree with what Randy said a while back. Like people are more interested in investing in characters and like people rather than just things. And even though Adventure logo is a thing, it's one of the better things because the Avengers logo is pretty iconic to like the MCU series and all that. So at least it has that going for it. Like Pizza Planet truck, just the fact that you have to explain it. People are like, Pizza Planet truck, like what's that? Like, well, it's in every Pixar movie or Disney movie. I think it's Pixar, or Disney, like whatever it is. Even the fact you have to kind of explain it, people are like, oh, okay, that's cool. But like they're not gonna invest in it just because it's like in every movie. Like that's not a big selling point. But the Avengers logo, okay, if that's tied to the MCU, it has the A for Avengers. It's on like the Iron Man Was it there? Yeah, the Avengers Tower, like Iron Man. I forgot. Is there music playing? Give me a sec here. There we go. Now back to music. Knight Rider. After that shreddy, is there a sell point which I could see they... Sorry, I need to slow down. After that strategy, is there a sell point which I could see they can have if Veve go viral and will be known from everybody? Yes. Yes. Carl, not off. Or sorry, I skipped Elmatics. And oh my gosh, I just jumped down quite a bit. Joe Blue, would you sell your uncommon Spidey for a common Mickey or a common Spidey for your Mickey? I have enough gems to spare to be able to afford. Okay, let me see here. I don't know. I'm very bullish on Spider-Man, obviously, because he's the common one. Oof. It's so hard to tell because, like, I can see the common Spider-Man doing very well. Like, it's literally on, like, the Veve loading screen. Let me see here if it'll load. Might have to refresh because it is getting a bit laggy. So it went up to 1400. I mean, the common Mickey hit like 1300, right? And it has taken some time for like Spider-Man to get up to this point, but then again, like we haven't had that. We didn't have 1.5 million people on the platform like before December. Like we didn't have that yet, so that's a tough one. Basically, common Steamboat Willie or common Spider-Man. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it has dipped quite a bit. It really depends. Part of me wants to say Steamboat Willie, but then again, like I do think all the Spider-Man NFTs are tied together. Whenever there's hype around one, there's at the very least attention put on the other, so it could cause some like price action movement. I would say if you own, which one did you say? It's hard because they both have that 8.5% fee. I have enough gems to spare, so I would be able to afford. I would say they both could rebound so hard. I'm curious to what you guys would say. Mickey versus common Spider-Man. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. That's the other thing too, like which one's cheaper? Not that I think that's like the main determining factor, but Jig. I think I would say, and it just out edges it barely. I think it would be Steamboat Willie, common. The lower mints does help, but again, I think we're getting to the point now where like mints don't really matter. There's so many people on the platform and there's so much money in right now. But Steamboat Willie's a pretty big deal. I think the real question is like a month from now, what would be easier to buy a month from now? Like Steamboat Willie or Spider-Man? And I do think it's Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie would be harder to buy, so I think you go with that. There's so many Spider-Mans. It's hard to describe. It's just a hunch. Sometimes you also just go based off hunches too, right? Steamboat Willie's a direct thing for Disney, and there's a lot of Disney fans out there. Let's go ahead and refresh this really quick. Just give me a sec. I just hate how I have to close my name. My vault value is like way off. I have already sold a couple of different things, and then but also like it's obviously market is basically crashing. Not crashing, just taking a heavy dip, let's say. Knight Rider, is it difficult to define the long-term hodl? The grails I would never sell before 3 years. After that, I would look into hodl a little further. Don't really have a hodl time. Exit state, yeah, exactly. Ilmatic says, at Carl, nah, don't think so. Bart Skateboard's probably the lowest in terms of long-term value. I could see that. Carl says, Ilmatics, no, I just meant the lamest in aesthetics. Okay. But they make the skateboard rideable, then it'll be different. Could be, that could happen. Knight Rider, do you think we could have the IP Harry Potter? I would say so. Why not? I would like to see Lord of the Rings personally. I'm a bigger Lord of the Rings fan, but Harry Potter would be pretty cool. Definitely a lot of fans for that. MD, yo! Love your live session, dude. I appreciate that. Andre DePlanty? Andre DePlanty? The Asian market localization isn't here yet from the AMA. It's coming early next year. Okay. I think there's a pre-pump on Ultraman. Season 2 is being released on Netflix in April. Okay, that's cool. Haven't looked at any of the Ultraman stuff. Like, you know, I need to try to be a little bit more well-rounded with like what the IPs are and stuff like on Veve. Like, I haven't even touched comics that much, to be honest. Before, I was just buying like literally a comment of every comic, but it just started getting too difficult to keep up with, and eventually, like, after a while, it starts eating in your profits where you're just like, wow, it's been 2 weeks and like I've already lost 200 gems because I'm buying commons or whatever it is, right? Now, Maddox, not off, maybe, but we're a long way from that happening. Okay. Puzzle Master, what's your Master Collector point strategy? I brought this up before. I'm not too bullish on Master Collector points. It really depends on like what you get for it. It sounds like it's mostly just cosmetics or just accessories, as well as just a random chance raffle that you have a chance to win something. Not very bullish on it because there's people with huge amounts of Master Collector points and, you know, 20 to 30 to 50 sets plus. It's like I have maybe 1 or 2 sets. I'm more interested in investing in NFTs that are going to just get me more money rather than just like collecting Master Collector points. And I'm also just like not a fan of like spending gems on sets. And of course it's like an investment because those sets will go up in price over time. But I'd rather just maximize the gems into NFTs that I think that are going to grow the most, instead of like collecting points that might give me a chance to win. And, you know, it's all chance based. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that. And plus, some of these whales that have millions of Master Collector points, even if they put it all in and they win, they could probably get more points than you within a week, 2 weeks, just because they have so many sets. So, not very bullish on Master Collector points. I'm really curious to see like what they do with it and like what extra utility they add to it, but right now, like, I don't really have any strategy for it. I'm just collecting what I think is going to give me the most money. Superman versus Mickey. I'm assuming you mean ultra rare, because I mean that's hard. Did you mean Superman? It's hard because it's like, I guess you would mean what, 2 Supermans for an ultra rare Mickey at this point, which is kind of crazy. I would say Steamboat Willie, like if we're comparing the ultra rare to Superman. Now if it was like, let's say 3 uncommons or like 4 of the uncommon Steamboat Willies, I'd probably still say Steamboat Willies. Like if you're stacking that many, Superman is still like a very solid investment. I'm still like picking up some of the grails, but like Superman's probably one of the last ones I would get. Like I would get Todd, and then I already have Steamboat Willie. Then I would probably get Superman afterward, and then like Wonder Woman. I'm kind of like working my way down that way. FA Robin number 76 is the most undervalued NFT on the platform, sitting at 260. Let's see. Let's check that out. I think we talked about that one like 2 streams ago, and I forgot because I was just like, what? This is so undervalued, or like weird. But it's not technically the first. Like Robin, it's definitely like the FA Robin of, because there is an artist associated with it. Let's see here. Read more. Yeah, because, wait, isn't this the one where it's like Batman's son or something like that? Not entirely sure, but I could have sworn this is the one where like this is like his son. So let me change something really quick. I feel like I'm covering up a little bit too much of the. You guys care about the graphs, not my face. Let's get this fixed. I think it's a good pickup. I mean, it peaked at. Let's open up the whole graph. 360 is pretty solid. He's down to 260. 13,000 mints. Again, I think literally anything you invest in is going to be like very good. I do think for that price point, 250, like that's pretty solid. Like like number 76 Robin is pretty good. Plus that 2.5% fee is pretty nice. I wonder if that 2.5% fee encourages people to like undercut more frequently compared to Disney. I know a lot of people have talked about what Disney has done. That 8.5% fee is like genius because it forces people to hold longer to be able to flip it for profit. So like you have to literally wait for it to go up 10%. But because DC is only 2.5%, maybe people are literally only waiting for a 5% increase in order to flip it for profit, right? So yeah, I think it's solid. Like I did mention, like I think all the villains or like all the like non-Batmans are pretty good pickups. Question is like, would I stack what? 4 of these for the same as a for a Joker or something like that? Like a Jim Lee? Potentially 5? I could see that. It just depends on like how hard it is to sell, because that's the issue with stacking, right? Is being able to sell them. Like you get a higher profit percentage like per one. The hardest part is just getting rid of all of them in time, right? But that is a good call. Like I agree with that sentiment that that it's undervalued. Do I think it's the most undervalued NFT on the platform? Probably not. I'm trying to think like what is the most undervalued NFT? What is the most undervalued? Not sure. It's a hard question. And the prices in the markets change so much, it's hard to tell. Zach of all trades, what's up, dude? How will the Batman Croc do? We were talking about it earlier in the stream, throwing around some numbers. I kind of called the fact that it was probably going to be around like 100 to 120 gems. There's probably going to be less than 10,000 mints. FA of Croc, I don't think anyone cares about that. It's the first Batman NFT we've had in like 9 months, which is pretty hype. I think initially on like the market open, it could get to like 3,000-ish. And then it'll probably settle around like 2.5. Again, I have no clue. Like people really like Batman, so like that could increase it to like 4.5K. And like again, there's also, I think this is the first time we've actually had like a pretty solid IP or a character, and we've had this much money in the app. Because remember, after 12 days of Veve, all we've had is what? Invisible Woman, a couple of independent artists, a lot of comic books. And that's pretty much it. Like I feel like we haven't had like a Batman or like a huge name IP or character. Like, so I'm kind of curious how this plays out, because this is gonna be like the first drop of like a pretty big character with like a lot of money on the app. But yeah, I could see it settling around like 2.5 to like 3K, and maybe it pushes 4K like at the peak during like the market hype when it initially opens. But I could be completely wrong. Like I think I'm like a little overestimating it, but. Okay, let me capture with chat. I hope I didn't skip any questions. Andre, based on Veve's recent Medium article about Mickey and friends, we're probably going to have another mini gem squeeze. Not entirely certain about that. Like, I feel like if Minnie Mouse was like actually a statue and not a card or a poster, it really looks like she's like a card or a poster. And there's some series that still haven't been finished. Like they announced Steamboat Willie a month ago. That's part of a series, and it sounds like they're starting a new series with, you know, with Mickey and friends. I mean, there's still a lot of series that just like aren't finished. Like it took the Mermacornos and Unicornos like, or at least like the Mermacornos like months and months and months and months before they got their series too. So it really depends, but you could be right. Like I don't know. I don't think it'll cause prices to dip, not as much as like Batman. I think the main reason why it's dipping is a whole bunch of stuff. Crypto market, Batman announcement, but I just can't picture the market going down an additional like 15-20% because of Minnie Mouse card. They need to like release something else with it, or at least have like a regularly scheduled thing. Now if they announce like, hey, we're doing like literally a series, like we're gonna do Minnie on Tuesday, like next Tuesday, we're gonna do Goofy on Wednesday, Daffy Duck on Thursday, and like if they do something like that, there will be a squeeze. But if it's just one card and we're gonna have to wait 3 months for the next card, like I don't think so. TC Business, accumulate for Master Collector points or flip for gems because drops will still be difficult to get even with points. me personally, and everyone has different takes. I know Andrew Ellis is like very bullish on master collector points. I'm probably more in the wheelhouse of like Randy, where it's like just get NFTs that you think are going to do very well, that are just going to give you the highest return, like gem wise, that you think personally, at least IPs you believe in, ones you like. But like, I just, in my mind, I just can't imagine throwing 600 gems to like complete like a Murmocorno set or a Unicorno set, or even more than that, because the sets have gone up in price. But you probably could now, actually, just to like get master collector points. Like, of course they'll go up in value, but it's like I'd rather just, you know, throw that in a Dick Spring Joker, or get 3 of those Robins. You know, like I'd rather do that, and just because I know that's going to give me a higher return. Let's see. Crypt money. Cryptoani. Clearance on Wonder Woman, 1K floor, really? I remember when she hit 400 gems and everyone thought that was nuts. Okay, she's a little under right now, but like maybe that could be different on the market. So on the market, she might be like close to 1,000, but maybe the market just hasn't updated yet, because it's every hour on the hour. So in 20 minutes, we'll have an update. Coffee shots. If you want fast liquidity, then mints don't matter. It's worth it to try for low mints though for auctions. I would say so, yeah. If there's a low mint that's a little bit above floor and I'm trying to buy something, I will go for it. It's nice because when you try to later sell that NFT, I've noticed that sometimes your NFT will sell, like Wonder Woman, let's say. It's at 1,100 right now. There's a bunch of Wonder Woman's price. Let's say the front page is 1,100 and the bottom one is 1.3. Like that's the front page, like the first 10 listings. If I have like a really low mint, like let's say a sub 1,000, it's like 800 and something. Like, yeah, I might have paid a little bit more for it, but like now I could sell it quicker because it's on that front page. Sometimes people will actually spend that extra couple hundred gems, or, you know, 15 gems or whatever it is, of course, percentage of price. Sometimes people will pay extra just to grab it. And like, you can actually post those low mints like a little bit above floor and people will just snag it. As long as you're on that front page and you're easy to find, you can kind of just quote unquote skip the line, let's say, and even ask for a higher price because you have a lower mint. I've done that quite a few times. Barry did an oopsie. The new Batman drop looks very cool. I think so too. I'm very excited to see it in VR and all that stuff, and Killer Croc. I'm sure me and my friends will find a way to like set it up in a way where Batman's actually like punching me or like punching my friends. Like we'll replace it with like Killer Croc or something. I think that'd be fun. And it's the first of the battle statues, right? I don't think that's going to give it a ton of value. It just really depends on like what the future ones hold. Real talk. Will the NFT prices rebound after the Pokemon drop? Thanks. What? Pokemon drop? For sure. I think it'll actually happen before the Pokemon drops finish. So if they did, I really think Pokemon would be like a 2-week thing. Like, I kid you not. Like, if they really wanted to go all out, they could do like a 2-week thing where they say, all right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're gonna have these drops, and then the following week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're gonna have more drops. Or it could be 1-week thing. Like, who knows? I do have a feeling it will be a multi-day drop. It just makes sense. But depending on what the last drop is, like some people might just, and I've even debated this too, like, should I just play the drops and not even bother with the secondary market? Like, if Wonder Woman, like if Pokemon was announced 3 weeks from now, Wonder Woman goes down to 500 gems, like, do I just buy up all these NFTs that are like 70% discounted, 60%? I don't know if Wonder Woman would dip that low, but do I just scoop these up and just play the drops for Pokemon and not play the secondary market? Like, I think a lot of people will do that. And the best way to do that is to do it before the event even ends. Like, just do it in the middle of the event, or like when there's like a few days left. Because after the event, like, people are going to go to the secondary market and they can't afford it. They're immediately going to go to these NFTs that they already have planned out that they're going to buy. At least that's what I would do. Joe Blue, okay, thanks. I've got both common and uncommon Spidey. Market moved. I need to catch up with chat, so I might blow through these questions, so I apologize, but I really want to like catch up with chat. Not that I've like hated this, but like I've always liked it when like I ask a question and like the streamer or the content creator can get to it in a relatively timely manner. Sometimes I've like asked a question, I've had to wait like 35 minutes for my question to get answered. Nothing against them, but Joe Blue, okay, thanks. I've got both common and uncommon Spidey, and have been debating selling one for either a common or uncommon Mickey for a while, and I think that the fees are putting me on. Okay, so you do own them. Sorry, I thought you meant like you just had gems and you weren't sure which one to buy, but if you own, that's what I was gonna say too. If you own the Spideys, I would just hold them. Also, would you do it now or after tomorrow's drop? Oh, like do any kind of trading? I would just hold them, dude. Just hold the Spideys. Like they're solid. Like, but if you have to eat an 8.5% fee, especially at where the prices are at now, like just hold them. I wouldn't do it. Not earlier, but the comics rare are really good for Master Collector points. 2 points for a rare comic. Not bad. I have heard of that. I haven't really done my research into like, again, probably the two things I'm like least, I wouldn't say least bullish on, but like least educated on are like comics and like Master Collector points. Like I understand the Master Collector points thing, but comics not so much. We need Mandalorian and Boba. I agree. Boba Fett would be sick. I would love to get, who was it? I think it was Meet Kevin Padawan or whatever. I think he changed his name recently. He was another content creator. Kind of looks like me, let's say. And he loves Star Wars and all that stuff. And I told him like it'd be sick if they did a Star Wars drop, but they did it. And I think they should do this for X-Men too. But they do the drops, like the blind box drops in pairs. So like if they did Star Wars, they would do like Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn, and then they would do like Luke and Vader, and they would do each one would either be a different day or whatever it is. I think having all those stacked the same day would be a bit much, but like Obi-Wan and General Grievous and Anakin and not Mace Windu. Who else? What's his name? Count Dooku. If they had those paired up, because those are all people that killed each other in the movies, I think that'd be kind of cool. Same thing with like X-Men. If they did like Wolverine and Sabretooth, and they did like Toad and Storm. They already have Storm, but I mean, that's more of like the movies. But I do think that that'd be kind of cool if they matched up like a superhero with their arch nemesis, and that's part of the blind box drop. Coffee shots. A Star Wars set drop will definitely trigger a squeeze. Oh yeah, that's probably one of the bigger ones. It's not as big as Pokemon. It'll definitely be bigger than like Dragon Ball Z. It'll definitely be bigger than like Jurassic Park. I'm trying to think of some of the other like relatively big IPs that like Veve's kind of sitting on. Are there any current grails that will not be grails when the app's usability is full tilt to the collectors? That will not be grails when the app's usability is full tilt to the collectors. Meaning what? Sorry if I'm like misunderstanding that question, real talk. Meaning like there's so many collectors that own it that it won't be a grail anymore, and like you just can't afford it, or like you just can't get it. I think that would make it more of a grail, right? Because it's hard to get. Like no different than the Marvel Comics #1 in like real life. Sorry if I'm like misunderstanding your question, so maybe rephrase it and I'll definitely answer it if I'm not answering it correctly. Mandomi, where do you see Zombie Hunter Spider-Man common at the end of the year? Thanks. 2K? Maybe a bit higher? I could see that. Maybe 3K. It is technically the lowest tier of the Spider-Mans. It really depends on like where the other Spider-Mans in the middle shift. And like how much they really double down on like the Tom Holland Spider-Man and like Doctor Strange, because that Spider-Man is involved. That's what the Spider-Man is. He's wearing Doctor Strange's cape. So not entirely sure. It depends if they release another Spider-Man NFT. Depends on a lot of other IPs. Like it's hard to say. Like doing 1 year predictions, I don't mind doing it because it's fun, but there's so many things, so many variables. Knight Rider, what do you think will be the long-term more valuable? More valuable, Steamboat Willie, Common, or Wonder Woman? Let's go ahead and pull up Wonder Woman really quick. If it'll let me. There it goes. Hard to say. Let me actually close this. Hard to say. I'm pretty bullish on Steamboat Willie. I like Wonder Woman too. I think Steamboat Willie. I like Wonder Woman, but Steamboat Willie's really made some moves, and like really made some waves in just like the Veve community. Like I'll be honest, I was this close to selling my ultra rare Steamboat Willie. If you didn't sell it during that initial pump, let's see here. No, that's not what I meant. Like, because back then, during this time, like I was heavily considering it because I won the Steamboat Willie on drop, and I was heavily considering it, basically one for wanting it or like selling it and buying a Todd and having some gems left over. But I was like, no, like I'm not gonna do that. Like Steamboat Willie's like really pumping like insane. But basically, like if you didn't sell it here and immediately bought a Todd and had, you know, 2,000 gems left over, because back then, like Todds were like 3.7, I think, around this time, like during this time of like 12 days of Veve. So you could have flipped this at like, let's say 5,800, bought a Todd and still have like 1,500 gems like left over. And then if you stacked or flipped or whatever, like you could have bought Steamboat in the ultra red at any point during this time. But I still think it's Steamboat Willie. Like people around this time, like early January, saying like Steamboat Willie is a grail. It's such a huge part of like Disney history. Like every Disney collector is gonna want Steamboat Willie. It's Mickey before Mickey was Mickey. Like it's just nuts. So I think there's just more hype around that. Like Wonder Woman is huge, but you don't want to underestimate Disney collectors or just Disney fans in general. That's my opinion. Steamboat all the way, yeah. Coffee shot. Steamboat all the way, the most iconic, yes. Crypto-money. It's gonna take me a million tries to try that. I know it's like crypto money. Crypto money. Crypto money. Kryptoni. I'm gonna say it that way. FA Batgirl is super underrated also. Yeah, I remember telling people about Batgirl. Gosh, I was so upset. I should have taken my own advice because I told people to stack basically like Batgirl, Common Zombie, Hunter Spider-Man, Catwoman, and I think Batgirl, like a long time ago, like a month ago, when they were all under 100 gems. And Batman Who Laughs, that was the other one. And I should have heeded my own advice. Like I got like one or two of each, but I should have legitimately bought like 15. And I didn't. And then we see this. I think she's undervalued. Again, she's one of the like the lower tier like DC heroes, but like if for like a budget FA and you want to flip it in like the short to midterm, I think she's pretty solid. Like these are the NFTs you want to use to like build up like gems in the short term, in my personal opinion. Like this is a pretty solid one. Like this and that other like FA Robin as well, I think are pretty good like short-term ones. So they'll pump and like they'll kind of chill out for a bit, and then you want to just use this to basically get an additional like 30 to 60% gems, flip that, and just keep going. And the 2.5% fee does help it a lot for that reason. Realtor Aaron Baker. I think if Mini is 2D, then it would be Veve's first 10K of all 10. Sorry, I misread that. It is 2D, then this would be Veve's first 10K of all different images. So Minnie Mouse in 10,000 different images. Each one of a different one. Okay, that's okay. Now I know what you mean. They did tease that at some point last year that they might release a lot of mints and they would have different versions or different, it would look different. They would literally have 10,000 different unique versions of it. Maybe color palettes are changed. Maybe she's holding something different or wearing something different. Maybe the card or whatever it is, it looks different as well. The only issue I can see with that is like, how would that work on the market? Would you literally have to tap through each one, simulate it, and like see the image to do it? Like it's doable. It just seems like a lot of legwork on their part to make it work. I do think they're going to do that eventually, but it'll take them a very long time to get to that point, in my personal opinion. Doing 10,000 unique photos, and I'm sure they could just auto-generate it or like have an algorithm that just like generates 10,000 unique ones. But I feel like you would also have a lot of ones that look like very, very similar as well. So not entirely sure, but that'd be really cool. I definitely see them implementing like that concept or like that technology at some point in the near future. Unless there's information that I'm just like missing. Because I think all they announced was like, by the way, we're adding Mini at some point to Veve, and it kind of looks like this. So we're not exactly sure. Kryptony. I just had a little Dirk's artist download Veve. I just had little Dirk's artist download Veve and buy a Wonder Woman. I know them both. Hopefully Dirk comes on board. Sorry if I don't know who Dirk is. I don't know if he's like another content creator, if it's like a close friend of yours, but yeah, I mean those are all solid buys. Like any FA right now will be a pretty good buy. Will some pull ahead more than others? Like yeah, like some of the FAs will pull ahead very quickly with like say a month from now, and then other ones might pull ahead even further, like 3 months from now. It just depends, and there's a whole lot of catalysts in Veve, as you guys know. Javier asks, I have 6,000 gems to spend. What do you recommend for flipping and 2xing? 6,000 gems. It's a very good question. It depends. Are there like, okay, I don't want to just throw NFTs at you. Like, you want to make sure that these are NFTs that you're actually interested in, or like that you're passionate about. Like my initial thoughts are like Iron Man. Iron Man is nuts for its price right now. 2,000 gems. It was 3,200, 3,300 not too long ago. Like literally 3 days ago, it was 3,300. So it's discounted by more than 33% right now. It's a gold moment. FA Iron Man. This is, let me refresh this just so I can like answer your question better. Okay, give me a sec. Let's see. Cool. All right, well, this question might take a while. Just let me catch up with chat. I swear I'm gonna answer your question because that is a good question, and I want to make sure I answer it correctly. Knight Rider, would it be better to stake right now 4 fins or 3 FA Robins or 2 or 2 Batman Who Laughs for a later flip? I'm not too bullish on Batman Who Laughs. There's a lot of manipulation, it seems like, that's happening, and you have a lot of paper hand people. The fact that it moved up so quickly means there's quite a few people that bought it for cheap that are more likely just to flip it because they can and just undercut you. So not a huge fan of Batman Who Laughs. 3 FA Robins, 4 fins. I think the Robins will get you further than the fins, in my opinion. If those are the only 3 options, I would skip on the Batman Who Laughs. 4 fins isn't bad. Like, I think it's pretty good, but I do think the Robins will probably serve you better. I think fins, there could be a point where like Robins will spike up, get you more money, and like kind of plateau a bit, and like maybe fins will go up a bit, plateau, and like there'll be some sort of weird meme or some catalyst that could happen that make Finn go beyond Robin. But I think your safest bet, if that's the only 3 options, is Robin. Kryptony, if I can get Dirk to buy a Walt, post it on IG or TikTok, it's over. I don't know who Dirk is. Like, he sounds like he's a very big influencer, so good on him. Jimmy Toon, do you think they'll have NFT based? Do you think they'll have NFT based live action heroes like Tom Holland, Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman, Logan, Wolverine? Not sure if they'll actually like use their image or their persona like on the actual NFTs. Possibly. I mean, if they can do that with like, I mean, they already kind of do that stuff with like NBA Top Shots or just like athletes, right? So why not celebrities? Contracts might be, it might be in some ways like easier. It's kind of like working with like an independent artist, right? Like if they want to use their image, but could it get a bit hairy with like, I do think a lot of those IPs, like especially Disney, they are trying to get away from the old and in with the new. I mean, look at the new Star Wars the new Star Wars films, all the new Marvel shows and stuff happening. Like, not that they want to like kill the past or get rid of it, but I think they're trying to go past the original heroes and come up with new ones that younger crowd or whatever people can kind of get invested in. So possibly, but like those old versions, maybe not. Not entirely sure. But anything's possible. Kryptony, yes, sir. Taxi Corp Electric Taxis. At Jimmy Toon, real actors like Hugh Jackman could be NFT using MetaHuman creator by Unreal Engine, so yes, it is possible. Yeah, like why not? Delpa, hi bros. What's up, dude? Little Dirk is a platinum rapper. Okay, I don't know. I'm kind of like, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the term. Like I like music, and there's like certain tunes. I like rap, I like hip hop, I like all kinds of stuff. I like lo-fi music. I like classic rock, some country music. I like all kinds of stuff, but I've never been that person that's like, oh, that's a good song, and like who sings it, and are they touring, and like are there tickets close by? Like I've never been that kind of person. Like I just go with the flow, I guess. Odilon Mendoza Rendon. I would stack. Okay. Jimmy Toon, Electric Taxis. Yeah, I think that would be dope. Dylan. Fins take a while. So they do. Like, you have to really time the spikes. Like, they go up and then down, and then up, then down. You have to really time the spikes when it does happen. He's a Raptor. Why would Dirk listen to you? Chicago rapper. Okay. So it's always like a. Did I say he doesn't sound familiar, but maybe he's like a regional rapper. Okay, so I've caught up with chat. I'm going to return back to what Javier asked. You have 6,000 gems to spend. What would you recommend for flipping? I'm just going to give you options. Actually, my most recent video actually does a pretty good job of like giving some options. So like FA Joker, Iron Man. I think, dude, if there's one that you have to get, Rare Spider. Hello? Is I don't think it's gone up in price just yet. I'm actually gonna look this up on my phone. Is Rare Spider-Man? It's the same look as the Secret Rare. I do think this could be one that could pump very well. Like, do I think it'll surpass the Ultra Rare? No, but it could get to the point where it gets to like 3 or 4K like pretty quickly, because it is heavily discounted. I mean, this thing pushed to 2.3 and now it is 1.5 essentially. I'm just gonna look on Veve really quick to just see if I'm kind of like missing anything, or like if the market looks like very different on it. Give me a sec here. Actually, I can show you guys what I'm looking at. Give me a sec here. Please tell me this works. Work! No, that's not what I want. I want this. That is not what I want either. You know what? Because I don't have, I can't show it right now. I'll have to deal with it later. Rare Spider-Man, I think, is a very, very solid buy. It's probably the only thing I would put above Iron Man right now. Just because I think it could rebound really hard, like above where it was prior. Where is Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man? It's at 1.4, yeah. I think Spider-Man and Iron Man are both extremely strong investments right now. If you have like 6K, and then like if you, let's say you just got one of both. Again, like I'm not sure if you're interested in more in stacking, or if you just want to get like three, maybe four like really solid like NFT investments, and like you just want to chill on those. My preference is like probably get you like 3 solid NFTs, and then like use that last 1,000 to like stack something, so that way you at least have some gems to play with, and you can at least like play the market a bit. Because I'm not a huge fan of like spending all 6,000 on like high tier like one NFT, and then like just sitting and like all you do is play drops. Like you got to play the market a bit and like understand things, in my personal opinion. Couple shots. Do you think it's a good idea to stack Invisible Woman common right now? I think it's probably a good call. It'll take you a while to sell them, but it's a good call. I know him, bro. I'm a music producer. I produce his artist. Goat of Goats. Hey, what's up? So yeah, I would say those are probably the strongest ones right now. Like FA Joker is really good. Like if you like Joker, plus there's that 2.5% fee. Like he's sitting at 1,400. He was at 2,000. It's funny because like this and the Spider-Man pretty much are almost identical. Sorry. So So this is at 1400. The rare Spider-Man's at 1400. This peaked at about 2000. The other Spider-Man peaked at like 21, 2200. But overall, I do think the rare Spider-Man would do better over Jim Lee Joker. But again, like if you're more bullish on just like Batman, if you just like Batman stuff more often, like you're just gonna be more convicted in like holding it, right? So I think that's pretty solid. Let me see here. Ultra rare Zombie Hunter Spider-Man's is another solid investment. Because the ultra rare was about that point too. Let's see. Ultra rare right here. It's a bit higher, so it's 1100. But I do think it has a pretty high ceiling because the low mints 3800. Like people are really liking this, so it went up to 1800. So that's like not bad. Like you can see too, like this was like 300 gems high short of like the high of the other two I mentioned, but it's also 300 gems cheaper. So it's all relative for the most part. What else? Like that's a solid one. I have my list here that I literally did a video on not too long ago. Like those are pretty good. Like F.A. Harley Quinn is pretty solid too. She's only like 800 gems right now, and she was 1200 not too long ago. Like a lot of the pretty solid, I would say like mid-tier grails, or I guess you want to call that, or some like the mid-tier like FAs. Like they're all discounted by like 30% compared to where they were like 3-4 days ago. So like they're all pretty good. Like yeah, F.A. Harley Quinn's like 800 gems. But if you're trying to find stuff to like stack, Snow Globes are pretty decent, but those might take you a while to sell. Deadpools, I'm more bullish on. Like I like the Deadpool uncommons more than the commons personally, because you can legitimately buy twice as many, and I just like the look. Like if you're able to remove the sweater or the hat, I kind of like this stance where he's like has his thumbs up more than like doing that. That's just me personally. Plus you can get twice as many, and if the common does go up, the uncommon price will follow. Maybe not exactly in step like percentage wise, but it will chase. What else? DeLoreans and Groots. I've been saying DeLoreans, Groots. I like Ecto 1 more than DeLorean personally. Common Alligator Loki, they're like 75 gems, but they were like literally 135 4 days ago. Let's see. Common Alligator Loki. I hope this is answering your question, dude. Like I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but like I just want to make sure I give you some ideas. I'm not telling you to buy this. Like don't buy this right now. Like this is just the ones I highly suggest. I would cross-reference them with other content creators. Like Randy Chavez is great. Like I'm giving you mostly DC and like Marvel suggestions, so he's very informative on that. Like, so I would say like Iron Man, Rare Zombie Spider-Man, like F.A. Joker, F.A. Holly are both pretty solid. And then like if you're looking to stack with something, like if you have like 100, like if you have like 500 or 1,000 gems left, like, and you want to stack some stuff, of course leave some gems over for like playing the drops. But like, yeah, Alligator Loki is 75 gems right now. He peaked at 130 not too long ago, so he's literally almost half price, a little bit less. So he's been discounted by like 45%. And plus there's the whole Loki Alligator gang with like Randy Chavez going on, and so I do think there is somewhat of an organized community behind it, which I do think helps it a lot. Yeah, I hope that answered your question, dude. Like I knew I threw a lot at you, and I'm sure there's other suggestions too, which is why you shouldn't just take my suggestion and like run with it. Like cross-reference it with other people and ask other content creators, other like knowledgeable traders, because I'm not always right. Let me catch up with chat. Knight Rider, I have 1,500 gems to spend. What would you recommend to buy for a 2x? You can get like 2 Harleys. I mean, that would put you at 1,600. Oh, for like a, okay, so 2x investment, right? When you say 2x, do you mean you want 2 NFTs that equal 1,500, or do you want an NFT that I think would double in price? Joker or Supergirl? I thought we looked at Supergirl before, but let me pull her up. Supernova, Superman, Supergirl. Supergirl's pretty low mints. Unfortunately, I think she's like on the lower end of like people know Supergirl, but like recognizable and like iconic superheroes, I would probably say Joker. And we're getting to the point now where like honestly, when something has like 35 or like 3,800 mints versus like 7,500, it's not that big of a difference. It's going to be more. It's more important how iconic and how popular the character is itself than anything, in my personal opinion. So I would say if you're talking FA Joker, I would say FA Joker. I know it's a bit more. It's like an extra 150, 200 gems, but that's my call on it. Plus the 2.5% fee versus 8.5% of Supergirl is another thing too, or like to keep in mind. Joker, yeah, exactly. I would say Joker. Short term, Joker. It does like short term or long term. I think it's Joker. Frederick Sendvikist. Sorry if I butchered that. What about Common Mickey? Can you review it and give your prediction? I've talked about Common Mickey quite a while, or like on and off this whole stream. I think it's solid. Are there better investments for 1,000 gems than Steamboat Willie? The only one I would maybe contemplate, like maybe, is the ultra rare Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. But even then, it's at like 1,100 right now. Like Steamboat Willie's at like, it's even then like Steamboat Willie's cheaper. Like it's still better to like get Steamboat Willie and then like stack Roots or stack like Alligator Loki's. Like it's just better overall. So yeah, I mean, I would say probably like if all you had is 1,000 gems, like common Steamboat Willie is probably your strongest investment. Because what's the common Steamboat Willie at right now? I thought it was like 880, right? 850. That is very solid. I mean, the fact that it went to like what was it? It was at like 1,200, right? Not too long ago. Where is it at? 1,300. So it's 33% off compared to literally what it was 2 days ago. Like, it's definitely one of the better investments, and I think it's going to rebound harder or go above that even higher, because you know what's going to happen is, this is what typically happens, like, the price will increase, and so like the listings will increase, the price will dip, but like you'll notice that like the listings are just going down, and like so this is crashing, and then people will buy it, so the listings will drop down and the price will go up, the listings will go up, but like the listings will never probably go above 790 again, unless Pokemon gets announced. But like other than that, like it won't go up again. So it's just like the price trend will always steadily go up, and the listing trend will always steadily go down. So in my fair opinion, like it wouldn't surprise me after all this this dip is gone and like we're done with like the next series of drops, or like after February 27th has passed. Like I think the day after February 27th, like the market will just go nuts. So either Pokemon's announced and everything will drop, or Pokemon's not announced and people's suspicions didn't happen and prices will just skyrocket again. And at that point, like let's just assume Steamboat Willie stayed the exact same price. Like it wouldn't surprise me if the common went up to 1,550, like very shortly after. But yeah, Frederick, I hope that helped. I'm not sure how in depth you wanted that explanation. Which Joker? The first appearance Joker. So that's Jim Lee. There's 2 different Jokers. Although the other Joker, I believe, is getting slept on. That one will give you like a solid percentage, like solid like return as well. Like it's 630. But overall, like people want the FA most of the time. Like that will usually be the most coveted one that people want. So yeah, this version, Jim Lee, number 21. Did you know Young Official? Or are you talking to Kryptoni? Cooper Dash, dude, hey man, how are you? Dude, I'm doing great. I'm gonna be hanging out with some friends probably in a little bit later today. We're gonna be watching the Niners and Packers, right? I forgot who's playing tonight. I could be completely wrong. I think that's who's playing tonight, so we're gonna watch that with some friends, probably have a few beers, go to the local like sports bar or whatever, check that out. So I won't be on for like too much longer. It just depends on like when they contact me and they want to hang out. Double in price. Okay, so your original question was you have 1,500 gems. We're looking at one right now. Gem Lee is very solid for 1,500. Ultra Rare Spider-Man is better than Gem Lee, in my opinion. If I had 1,500 right now, what would I get? You know what I would get? No, it's the rare Spider-Man. If you just want to be one and done, like you just want to get one solid NFT for 1,400, rare Spider-Man, hands down. Spooderman. I'm just gonna put double O's, Spooderman, and then I'll populate. There it goes. If you have 1,400 and that's all you have, like this is very, very solid. Like, I mean, it's almost at half price already. Like it was 2,200, 2,400 4 days ago, 3 days ago. So, and I pretty darn sure it's going to rebound even harder than where it was prior. So for 15, and you have 100 gems left to play, just do drops. That's perfect. But if you want to have a smaller stack, like if you want to be able to stack stuff, like Common Spidey is very good. Not too bullish on like Ben Riley. Like it's so reliant on like the low mints. You could get like Zombie Hunter Spidey, or actually no, Common Steamboat Willie, common or uncommon, either one, and then you can use the rest to stack like Alligator Loki's, Groot's, Invisible Woman's, Deadpool's, like whichever one of those that you think are going to do the best, like you could stack those. That would be my suggestion. So either rare Spider-Man or common, uncommon, whichever one you want to spend more on. Like they're both, I think they're like, God, I just had it pulled up. How much was the uncommon again? Uncommons, yeah, whichever one you think will do better, like they'll both go up in price. And then use the rest to stack, like I said, Groot's, Alligator Loki's, Invisible Woman, Deadpool. Knight Rider, or the Slimer is also a good one. Not so much. Again, I do think they're undervalued, but like they're just getting overshadowed by Marvel, Disney, DC. Like I know I'm like repeating myself, but it's like it's true. Like that's what the market is showing and saying. Like just think of it this way: if your vault had a bunch of Spider-Mans and some Batmans and some other stuff and like independent artists and like Ghostbusters, and there's a big drop coming and you don't have enough gems, what are the first things you're going to sell? You're going to sell your Ghostbusters and your independent artists first, likely. Like you're probably going to sell your DC and Spider-Man ones because they do stuff like this. Like, and there's a huge following behind those IPs, obviously. So it's just like, it's not that it's like not a good NFT. It's just like other people are going to use that as a means to liquidate gems, which always means like the price is just going to do this a lot and not this. I hope the hand gestures help with that. So, when do you think the market is going to start pumping again? Entirely dependent on the announcements. That's why the market pumped initially, because a ton of people were going on the app, as well, like tons of just people and a massive injection of gems happened in the market. But also like there was no announcements for 3 weeks, like no actual big name announcements, and people were just sitting on gems like, what do I buy? And they just worked their way down. They went to the first things that pumped were all the blue chips. So like Todd, a lot of the golden moments, like Superman, like things like that. Then it went down to like the A tier ones, like Wonder Woman. I would say Superman's more of like a high A tier. I don't think is he considered a Grail? I would say so. He's like a low tier Grail. That's my thought on it. But yeah, I would say those two reasons. So it's entirely dependent on what kind of announcements Veve has for MTL, Immutable X, Veveverse, future IPs. Like, but I mean, they're coming out with like Batman's coming back. Disney NFTs are around the corner with Minnie Mouse. So like, even though they're existing IPs that we already have, like some pretty hard hitting characters. Double in price. Okay, so that Kryptony. I'm gonna keep trolling you and keep calling you Kryptony. Joker, yeah. Pull the trigger on common Steamboat Willie. Feels, dude, that's great. It's a very, very good buy. I remember telling people for 3 weeks ago 2 weeks ago. I remember telling people when this was like hovering around here, like 420, 400. I'm like, why is this 400? Like, why is this around 400? I'm like, buy this now. Like, it's for three consecutive videos. At the end, I'm like, all right, and like the NFT that I think is still undervalued is literally the Steamboat Willies. Like, buy any of them because they're all undervalued. And then sure enough, we get this because people, I've stopped doubting what the community says. Like, when you have enough content creators or enough people in the community say Steamboat Willie's a grail, and people say it for enough consecutive weeks, like, it's gonna happen. Same thing with Todd. Like, I held off on Todd for 2 months. I was like, well, Todd is like chilling around like 3,000 to 4,000 gems. Like, he'll probably stay there for another month and blah blah. And then before I know it, it's like going up and up and up and up because the community just kept on hyping up Todd and that he was going to hit 100K end of 2022. Like, and sure enough, it happened. Like, he pumped. Will he hit 100K in 2022? Potentially. I think it's very high likelihood. And even if he falls at like 75 or 70K, like, are people going to say that's a failure? Like, no, it's still a ton of money. So that's why I said, like, people were just hyping up, like, multiple content creators were calling Steamboat Willie a grail, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Like big name ones, like bigger than me, like established content creators in the space were saying Steamboat Willie's a huge deal, and Disney and Mickey are massive, and so yeah, you should feel good, and it will pay off. And after this whole dip is done and all that stuff, like, and who, like, and the thing is, like, don't be surprised. Like, common Steamboat Willie might go down to 700. Like, there's a chance that could happen. Like, more announcements happen. People want to liquidate. Like, you're never going to catch NFTs at the bottom, and you're never going to catch NFTs at the top. So, like, if you bought at 850, don't feel bad that it goes down to 800 or 750. You're like, oh God, I didn't buy it at the bottom. Like, you don't know. Like, no one knows what the actual bottom is. But you're never going to do it at the top, right? Like, let's say you wanted to flip it. Like, you're never going to find the top. So don't beat yourself up because, you know, you just don't know. Like, you're never going to find the bottom or the top of something. So I kind of given up on that. I beat myself up all the time over that, but I'm like, it's literally impossible to tell unless you're part of a Discord group that is purposely like manipulating the market. Like, okay, yeah, maybe. But even then, like, that takes a lot of organization. Okay, coffee shots. Batgirl artist Allie took a huge dip. What did she pump to recently? Let's check it out. I know a lot of people are just kind of like, you know what? It's because she has a similar name. I can't really look it up, right? Can I look up Allie? Like, artist Allie? Help me out here. Yeah, I don't think she's populating because she has the exact same name as Batgirl, and it's like weird with like ecomi wiki. That's why occasionally I've noticed when I scroll down, I'm like looking through more search results. If there's like a similar name that already exists or something, like sometimes it crashes. I think that's the reason. I could be wrong. Yeah, I wish I could look at Batgirl, but all it's showing me is the FA version. Not entirely sure. I mean, I could look up on my phone really quick. Let's see. I'm not sure what she pumped to before. Yeah, I think a lot of people just kind of like didn't like the second version of Batgirl because she does look a little like a little goofy with like the scooter and like the knee pad and like the outfit and stuff. And plus there was already an FA version of her that existed, so I think some people were kind of dumpstering that. I don't think it's like a terrible buy. I just think there's better buys for the price she's at now. Again, like these, like they're not bad NFTs. It's just there's other ones that are better now. And a day will come when like Adventure Time, this Batgirl that's on the scooter, like they will have a day where they do well. But it's just all the other stuff that is better than it needs to price itself out until Batgirl, the newer one on the scooter, shines and like finds a good spot. Frederick got the common Mickey at 378. Such a dude, same here. I got the Mickey comment or whatever. Like I got those for that amount. So I mean, you had 3 weeks to do it, or 2.5 weeks, whatever, to do it. So it's a solid pickup. You should feel very good about that. So congrats, dude. Coffee shots. I remember when Uncommon Mickey was around 250, 290. Pulled the trigger at 270 and never saw those prices. Yeah, like it's at 850 now. But after it rebounds and it goes back up, I don't think it'll go below a K ever again. Unless it's always like unless Pokemon, unless like maybe something like Star Wars is announced very shortly after. It's like while it's trying to recover or like go back up. But no, not unlikely. Your Steamboat, sorry, I think I skipped a couple of comments. Puzzle Master. Spider-Man common comics are a good stacker because they sell easily. That's a good call. I should probably get into like the comics, to be honest. That's probably why they're doing so well, because there's a bunch of stubborn ass people like me that like don't want to do the research, or like it's such a slow burn, but when it takes off, it takes off. And so and plus people just recognize the characters and the collectibles like a bit more, so it's in some ways they're easier to sell, but there's just so much there's just so much movement. There's just so many numbers going in and out of the comics that it's just, like you said, it's easy to sell. So I should probably stop being lazy and like actually do research into like the good comics, or like ones that are probably like the best bang for your buck right now. Like I could buy a common, what's it called? Like Marvel Comics #1, but is it going to do better than a different NFT I could buy for 400 gems, 500 gems? I don't even know where Marvel Comics #1 is at right now. Let's take a look. Let's find out. Let's stop being ignorant and look at Marvel. Marvel. Where's Marvel Comics at? Ultra rare. I don't want the ultra rare. Marvel Comic. Yeah. If I wanted to, I could buy one for 500 gems, but like, would I get more out of stacking? I don't know how many that would be. Like what? 8 Alligator Loki commons? Or stacking a bunch of Groots or whatever? Like, what's the timeline on that? It's hard to tell, but comics are doing pretty well. Like, they're not getting hit as hard as I would kind of say it like percentage wise they are, but like I would imagine they would recover much quicker than the NFTs or like the collectibles. JP Steamboat UR is definitely going past 100k easy. I would say so. I think it would take a couple of years, but it could definitely do that. It would take more than a year for sure. A year and a half. It's hard to tell, because people like make these price predictions, but it's like let's say uncommon, let's say the ultra rare Mickey goes to like 50k at the end of the year, and then all of a sudden like a bunch of like famous people, celebrities, some really really big time investors into like Disney or whatever, like they get on the platform in like 2023 and they like just buy them all up, and then all of a sudden now ultra rare Steamboat Willie's $250,000. Like stuff like that could happen. Like there's so many variables to these NFT things. It's like you can't figure it out. And like we're literally going into like uncharted territory. Like we still don't even know what's over the hill, let alone the mountain on the other side. Hamon, what's up? Veve vibes, dude. Hamon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Like I feel like I'm just butchering everyone's names, but I think that's part of the fun. Javier, thanks for the advice. Yeah, you're the one that asked about the 6,000 gems, right? Yeah, dude. Like I said, I wouldn't just take my word for it. Go ask Randy Chavez. Go ask. I'm trying to think like who else live streams pretty frequently. Like who really goes like really understands the market and is like digging their nose in it like every day. Andrew Ellis is pretty good with that. I know he doesn't stream that much. He's more posting videos on YouTube. If there's anyone else, that's probably good. But yeah, definitely like cross-reference my suggestions. Rare Spider-Man, Iron Man. And I'm trying to remember what else I suggested. You know what I suggested, but Steamboat Willie. I probably forgot to mention that, but like I'm all over Steamboat Willie comments, so maybe like pick up 2 of those, like pick up a common and uncommon as well, and then you're solid at that point, I would say. Because between Iron Man and Rare Spider-Man, that puts you at like, let's round up, say 3,500. You get a common, which puts you at 385, and then you buy a uncommon, which puts you at $5,000. You have $6,000 to like stack stuff and then play drops. So I think that's a pretty solid lineup. But then again, like you could do comic books. Like there's probably some comic books you could stack really hard instead of NFT, like the collectibles. I keep saying NFTs instead of collectibles, but because they're all NFTs. Joe Blue. I got the common Spidey for 400 and the uncommon for 235, so I have an attachment to them. Yeah, that's the hard part. If you guys are gonna sell, make sure you're moving to another NFT. Don't sell it just to liquidate and like just sit on something. Like make sure like all right, I'm moving from common Spider-Man over to NFA Joker because I like the 2.5% fee. I think it's going to pump soon. There's movies coming out, like whatever it is. But like, don't just sell it just to sell it. Like, make sure you have a plan to move. Like, make sure you're going towards something and not like, and don't do it because you're running away from something. Like, you're like, oh gosh, like this is going to crash or it is crashing. Like, don't do it to run away from something. Make sure you're always going towards something. Like, that's more important. And have a plan too. Like, I'm sure you have a Joe Blue. I'm sure you have an NFT that you would love to get, whether it's Superman or I don't know, what are the golden moments or whatever it is, and like try and do the math. Like eventually you can maybe find a way to if that's something you really want, maybe you could sell the Spider-Man and be able to afford it 1-to-1, or like flip enough gems with some of your other stuff and like sell your Spider-Man and then afford it. Like just have a plan. Thinking of stacking Ultraman common, so cheap right now. I'm not very bullish on Ultraman, to be honest. Like someone in chat said, I have no way to verify it, but they said like the whole like Southeast Asian like language like localization is not going to happen until like early next year. Some people are saying that like the Ultraman that is currently on the platform isn't like the OG Ultraman, so it's hard to tell. Like it's not a bad idea. It just depends on how much you're trying to stack, right? Like if you're just trying to get 1 or 2, like okay, that's fine. But like if you're looking to stack like 15 of them, you're probably better off investing those gems into something else. My personal opinion. So commons, they're 500. Are they like that good right now? Let's see. The real question is, so it peaked at 800. Right now it's at 500. I mean, it's a decent sell-off, but it's way too speculative for me. That it's pretty much hinging on how like the Chinese government and the localization for Veve plays out, and it hinges on way too many variables that are like out of your hands. And it's just like, that's just me personally. I could be wrong. Like I'm not saying that to doubt myself, but like, hey, I don't want to be liable. Like no, none of this is financial advice, but I think you're better putting your money in like globally recognized superheroes. Like if this works out, Ultraman will definitely give you a higher percentage, gem per gem or whatever, than probably any other ones, but it's a risk. And then you're stuck holding a bag, and yeah, that's just me personally. How much were these before? These were going for like 100 3 weeks ago. Let's see. I should probably stretch a bit more. Digital snipers. DS. I like the logo. Your Captain America floor price drop nearly 50%. Good pickup if anyone has gems. Let's check it out. I think Captain America is very solid. There's the main things that are going against it is like it's popular, but it's like it's not Spider-Man. It's not if they had Iron Man NFTs or like Iron Man 3D ones, I'd be all over it. But you said what, the ultra rare. That's the secret rare. It's not the ultra rare. That's the ultra rare. Let's see. Down 50%. I know it says 25 here, but like I believe you when you say it was probably more than 24 hours ago where it peaked. Okay, so it touched 2 grand. I mean, this is pretty solid too. So it's not just one peak; it's 3 peaks that hit it. And even though the 2 on either side, I mean, they're touching 1700. This one's very good too. I like the look of this one. Like even though the listings are going up, this is a solid pickup. Is it Steamboat Willie? No. Is it like as solid as Steamboat Willie Common? I don't think so, but it's definitely up there. I do like this graph though. Let's see if we can as Sniper said, we'll go ahead and zoom in here. It's going down. It's at 1,000. Is it like a hard floor right now? Let's check it out. Captain America. Captain America. That's the common. That's not what I wanted. Ultra rare. That's also a sick pose too. He's like saluting. I do like that pose a lot. 999 gems is the floor right now. 2,000 mint. That's pretty solid. Pretty low mint at 372 at 1.2k. Yeah, those are pretty solid. Hell, I might pull the trigger on that at some point. Maybe not, but that's pretty good. I do like that. And like Captain America's pretty recognizable. He's been getting a lot of hype recently. He was definitely overlooked. I think like the whole like zombie Captain America thing might have like killed it for him. But he did get quite a bit of hype. I think like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, he was at 500 and he's been creeping up. People definitely put more respect on the non-FA version. Like, and a lot of people are like, who cares if it's FA or not? Like, I want this version. Like this is, and I think the same thing could happen to like Iron Man. Like the Gold Moments Iron Man is awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, but like if they do a set, like a blind box set with Iron Man, like the suit and all that stuff, like it'll do ridiculously good. Like like I could see the rare doing better than the Golden Moments, but the Golden Moments still doing better than like the common and uncommon, personally. But no, the good call on that, digital snipers. I appreciate that. I like it when people give me suggestions to look at stuff, and it doesn't always have to be the graph doesn't always have to look at this good, but I mean just like I like occasionally looking at NFTs I haven't checked out in a while. Knight Rider, do you think all Golden Moments besides the partner stat you could hit 100k in 3 years? No, not all of them. The lower tier ones, no. Like Walt will hit 100k in 3 years probably, maybe 2 years, like who knows. In 3 years, I could see all the lower tier ones, so like Pizza Planet Truck, Wally, and all those. Like 3 years, like 20 to 25, maybe. Like it's that thinking that far out is you're like if you're thinking that far out, you're thinking in like 110% like speculation land. Like all you can do is like base it off of what has happened and not like what's going to happen, or like if there's any other like unforeseen catalysts that happen, and or like, you know. Yeah, but all of them hitting 100k, no, I don't think that can happen. I think all of them will hit 10k at some point. Could take a bit longer for some of those lower tier ones to hit there, but it could happen. Hamoon, it's good. Nice. Ole Haidar, sorry. I'm holding comments and you are Ultra Mickey, Sharkbite, 2 Batgirls. It's a damn to sell. Dude, do not sell. I know that's probably what you meant by saying it's a damn to sell right now. No, just don't do it. If you could complete that ultra rare Mickey set, or like the Mickey set, that'd be sick. I remember I actually won a Sharkbite on my drop. I got lucky. I think I sold it for like 450, 475. Like literally on drop day, and I think I got a good price because it peaked at like 510 and then it went back down. It's probably higher than that now, but I needed the gems to stack the common, what's it called, Zombie Hunter Spider-Mans back then. 2 Batgirls, yeah, dude, that's a solid vault. I like that vault, and the UR Mickey is very, very good. Joe Blue, one day I'd love R2D2. But again, I don't want to part with my Secret Rare Globe because that was my first drop. I also don't want to part with my C3PO and Iron Man. So I'll just hope to get lucky with future drops. Yeah, dude, those are all solid holds. It's not like, oh, I'm holding my Bigfoot Cryptkin long term. And even that, it's like, it's not worth enough to like, it's not like you can sell that and like afford a Grail or anything like that. But, you know, of course, if there's one you had to sell, like, you know, the Secret Rare Coke of all 3 of those, or all the ones you listed, is probably the one I would sell personally if I had to sell one. Like, I know you're emotionally attached to it, but I don't even know how much that one's cost. How much does that cost right now? Let's go ahead and look at the Secret Rare. It's probably priced very low because obviously everything on the app is dipping right now. So it's at 1,800. I mean, you can get some decent stuff for that. But I do think Coca-Cola is another IP that is being slept on. I mean, it went up to 2,600. Yeah, just hold. And again, don't sell it unless you have a plan. You know, let's say it goes up to 3,500 a couple weeks from now, and you want to sell that to afford. I don't even know what's. I don't know. It's not a lot of. NFTs in like the 3 to 4 grand range, but you know what I mean. Like, make a plan. Thoughts on Marty's hoverboard? Those snuck up on me. They pumped pretty hard not too long ago. Gosh, I remember buying these for like 140 or something like that, like not too long ago. But this snuck up on me. I'm assuming this was just kind of in tandem with the pump that happened with everything else. Yeah, because I remember buying and like trying to flip these like down here, and like just nothing was happening. Like you can see from, I mean, it's like decent margin, but like Marty's board was just hovering around like 130 to like 150 all the time for like a month and a half straight, and like nothing was happening. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna get rid of this and invest in something else. And of course, you know, usually sell it too soon and it starts pumping all the way up to 500. Holy cow. I'm not sure how much of this is speculative, that people think you can like ride hoverboards in the Veveverse and stuff. Potentially, like that could happen, but again, is it a solid buy at 300? That's the question. Like the question I always ask is like, are there better NFTs to buy right now that can give you a higher return for 300, like where it's at right now? You could stack like multiple Deadpools and stuff like that, but I mean, the fact that it did push 500 before, I just don't see Back to the Future, like the hoverboards, like reaching that price again as quickly as like some of the Marvel like DC IPs could do it. I think it's pretty solid. I think stacking would give you like Alligator Lokis or Deadpools or Snow Globes, because you could also get like 3 uncommon Snow Globes for this price too. I think those would give you a higher return, but it would obviously take longer to sell. I think it's a solid investment. Like, what are the numbers? Like, I actually have not been paying attention to the total listings. Hasn't gone down that much. Total listings, where's the, like, that's the other thing you have to look at occasionally. Like when you see these, like, don't just buy it right away. Like, find out where the walls are. We have 777 issued, because I might eat my words here. 100 on market. All right, goes up to 400 on that first wall. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. It's like definitely not the worst investment. I do think there's some other slightly better ones like for that price point. Okay, but that was a good, Jericho, that was a really good question. Like I like it when, again, people take me to like other IPs or things I don't look at, because I sometimes get caught up with like what the Veve community does, which is like Disney, Marvel, DC, and that's all we talk about. You know, Batman, Mickey, Walt, Spider-Man, and that's all we do. It's like, but again, like I'm just, part of it is like I'm following the crowd because those are the most profitable, and like as much as I want all these hidden gems and like smaller IPs to do well, like until Marvel, DC, and like all those like price themselves out and like nobody can touch them, like then the hoverboards, Cartoon Network, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Kripkins, all those will then start doing really well, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. Give me 1 sec here. I just need to send a text, making sure I didn't get overlooked. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you guys haven't, I should probably say like, oh, like, comment, subscribe, and follow my videos. I probably should say that more often, but like I just get too into it, and I just like want to talk to you guys. I'd rather do that than like twist your guys' arm to subscribe. Joe Blue, and also I'd like, jeez, it's and also I'd maybe like my Your Mickey back that I sold for 2.5K on drop day, because it pains me to see the price now. That too. Hamoon, did you see Veve's Twitter announcement on the new drop? They replied on some comments. What do you think the drop will be? Like a Minnie Mouse? Is that the one you're talking about, Hamoon? Because people were asking like, oh, is it a poster? Is it a card? Like, what is it? And they're kind of like being nondescript with it. So someone brought up something interesting earlier, that like it could be a card with like unique ones. Like I could picture it maybe not being 10,000 unique cards, but like it could be a blind box drop where there's different iterations where she's wearing different outfits and like color schemes potentially. I think it looks like a poster or some sort of card, but I could be completely wrong. Like we're just Yeah, we would just be speculating at that point. As fun as it is. What else do we have here? Coffee shot, Steamboat, you are to 100k, common and uncommon to 10k easy. Yeah, they seem to be really following in step with the uncommon, or the common being relatively a tenth of the price of the uncommon or the ultra rare, and the uncommon being relatively, that's like 1/9. I don't even know, do the fraction of that, but a little bit more than the common. Let's just say that. Whatever the math is with that, it's usually 25% higher than the common, I've noticed. So like when the common is at 1,000, usually the uncommon is like 1,250 or like 1,300. Like it seems to be following that formula so far. But again, when whales getting in here, like who knows? Ultra rare making go to 100k. And like the common will be at 8k, and like the common will be at 8, and like uncommon could be at like 15. Like anything could happen. Like weird things could happen. Knight Rider, what would be a better investment? Captain America Ultra Rare or Deadpool Ultra Rare? Let's see. Price matters. Hello, Deadpool. Can I get my Deadpool, please? There it goes. Depends on mints, depends on quite a few things. So let's take a look here. Ultra rare, right? Let's go down. 650, pretty decent. That's the other thing too, is like, what are they priced at now? Because there's some pretty heavy discounts happening. Okay, so he's almost touched 1,000. He's at 165 listings. There's just shy of 4,000 mints. I would like, the big catalyst for Deadpool is like being able to remove cosmetics, right? Hats, sweaters. That's like, when they announce that, Deadpools will, they're not gonna like double in price, but they'll definitely get a good bump of like 20 to 30% in my opinion. Or maybe people already see it coming and like it'll hardly move at all. Like I could be wrong. So that is one catalyst. Like that is one thing that is going for Deadpool. I will admit. 650. So we said 165 listings. Right now it's 650, and we'll look at Captain America really quick. Let's type in America. America. He's at 1,000. So again, it's hard to say. It really depends on, like, if you have 1,000 gems to spend, I think Captain America is very solid. So if you have 1,400 gems, get a rare Spider-Man. If you have 1,000 gems, I think Captain America is solid. I think Steamboat Willie is better, not by much though compared to Captain America. And then I would say like Deadpool. Like that's the order I would do it in, because that'll depend. Like if these two were the same price, hands down Captain America. But like, and even then, I think, yeah, because Deadpool is like 350 gems cheaper. So it's hard comparing two different NFTs that are like two pretty different price points. Now, if you said two Deadpools, like let's say people start buying Captain America's and he's at 1,200, Deadpool drops to 600. Now it's like two Deadpools or one Captain America. I would say the two, because Deadpool's like just shy of 1,000. How many mints are here? There's way less mints of Captain America too. I'd probably still say Captain America, potentially. Yeah, I'd say Captain America. But if you want to, I would say Steamboat Willie first. And if you're not very bullish on that, or you don't really care for it, whatever it is, but you like owning an ultra rare, master collector points, if that's important to you, if you like completing a set or whatever, like then Captain America, yeah. Let's see here, what's next? But that was a really good question, Knight Rider. I like it with those, that people do those comparisons. Olay, I'm just gonna call you Olay. Hadar, Hadier. Olay. Ultra rare to 20k in a month? Potentially. I think people are just gonna hesitate to make any huge moves until like, not even memeing, but I think like I'm kind of doing this myself, but like I think the market's gonna hesitate to make some like major moves like this, where things just like 3x in price, until after February 27th. Like I'm not even kidding, but I think like February 25th, if there's not an announcement, or like February 26th, if there's not an announcement, I think people are just going to buy up stuff. They're like, all right, Pokemon's not going to happen. We're going to buy everything up. And then maybe they announce it extremely late at night, February 27th, and just troll everyone. Who knows? February 27th, by the way, is like the Pokemon anniversary, 25th year anniversary, which is a pretty big deal. Check out Nightwing. I think it's an excellent move. Yeah, Nightwing is definitely a thing that like not a lot of like the newer people know, because it's more of like it's definitely an old school NFT. Back then people put more value in mints. So back then people were trading 2 Todds for a Nightwing, because you know they got Todd and Rizzo, and like Todd was 7,500 mints, and then like, oh my god, Nightwing less than 2,000 mints. That's nuts. That's crazy. And like, all right, I'll give you 2 Todds for a Nightwing, and you know all that stuff. I think it's solid. I honestly have not looked too much into it, mostly because it is kind of like a niche thing. I do think at some point in the future, like even like the next 6 months to like a couple of years, like people are going to want to invest in like historically relevant like NFTs, like the Nightwing and Todd and things like that. Like I do see people doing that, where it's like, oh, I own this NFT or this one. Like it's pretty cool. Nightwing. Okay, so actually it's kind of nice actually finding like a pretty decent NFT in like the 3,000 to 4,000 range, because that's something I kind of struggled with like recommendations. Because usually I was like, all right, I know a lot of good ones for like below 1,000. There's some good ones like around the 2K and like 3K mark, or like 2K mark, but I don't know a lot that are between that like 3 to 4K. Don't really know like what to say about this. To be honest, this one like, move this. He was at 4K not too long ago. He's at 31. It's just hard to recommend this, because this has only gone down 800 gems. But like we've had NFTs like Iron Man that have gone from 3,200 all the way down to 2K. Or we've even had NFTs like the common Steamboat Willie that was like at 1,300 at one point, or 1,200, and it's down to 850. Like it's had a very, very hefty discount for its cost. And so it's like, all right, is it better to stack those than get a Nightwing? Not entirely certain. Like it's a very solid investment. I'd rather stack, like, I'll be honest, I'd rather get 3 Steamboat Willie comments. Like I know I've been just like writing that NFT like for half the stream, but that's just me. Or even for 3,000, like shit, you can get 2 rare Spider-Mans for 3,000. And of course Nightwing has a 2.5% fee, but like for the same price I could get 2 rare Spider-Mans and still have 400 gems left over for drops and stacking. That's just me. But JDR, I appreciate the question, man. Joe Blue, I was in your first stream telling you about it. It's the mint number 155, if you remember. I do remember that. The SR Globe, yes, I remember that. Not a lot of people have the SR Globe, so I figured it was you. Or like, I was thinking like, oh, there's another person that asked about the secret rare globe or brought it up. JP, every VV season has a bull run, bull off top, then shoots prices back up. 2x minus 100 gems plus X. So it'll take 3 years for any of the golden moments to go 100K, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. But I mean, like I said, there's so many catalysts that could change it up. I mean, that's only based on the data we've had this last year, right? Like literally since golden moments or the last year. There's so many other things, like we're going into Immutable X. We're going into money transfer license, which I think is going to be a short-term thing. And then we're gonna have like the VVverse, like companies could add utility to their NFTs that we just didn't know before, like DC. Like now Disney could add utility to the gold moments, like more than what currently exists. You know, it's like could be airdrops. Like there's so many things that could happen between now and then. So like that's probably the current formula, but it's not gonna last forever. Jericho, thanks man, great insight. Subscribed. I see your channel rising in the near future. I appreciate it, dude. I try to. Like I know I don't have like the awesome setup and like the cool ring light and all the comics in the background and like the collectibles and all that stuff. Like I don't have any of that stuff. Like I feel like I just like educating people and talking about VV and NFTs, because this is stuff that's like life-changing for me, and I want to help others get to that point too as well, and then give advice. Yeah. Let's see. Hamoon, yes, indeed. I know what you're saying yes to, but yes. Joe Blue, another thing I've noticed with Mickey is the UC usually stays around 200 above Spidey. Common Spidey, okay. And the common is usually 200 above uncommon Spidey. I think you mean common, but I see what you mean. So like Spidey, the common Spidey is always somewhere in between the common and uncommon Mickey. It's always kind of nestled in between there. Yes, for now, we haven't had like a huge, because like the Mickeys have only been in that like, you know, area of 1,000 or whatever it is, like I think less than a week. So it's good insight. Like it's good, like noticing those kind of trends is actually important for like seeing the market. But that was like very short term. So like I wouldn't rely on that like too much, but like noticing trends like that like is pretty important for like doing well on the market. But after this rebound, like who knows? Uncommon Mickey could go up to 2,500, and then like common Mickey nestles around 1,700, and then like the common Spider-Man can go up to 3K, or maybe it stays around where it's at now. Like anything could happen, but that's good insight. Romaine M. Captain America is not an FA. No, it's not. The one I was looking at, the FA is like the Marvel Mighties version, but it looks like there was a point where people were like, screw it. Like I like the look of this, and like it's still first edition, and I think people also like aren't putting enough, not like respect or whatever you want to call it, but like enough emphasis on like first editions. Like first editions are still really good. Like FAs are of course the best, but like first editions are still going to be great. Like I don't think anyone's going to like, I think right now we're like, oh, it's not an FA right now because like we're in the literally the golden era of like being able to afford these NFTs. A year from now, like everything could price itself out. You know, all the FEs are a little bit cheaper than like the FA counterparts or whatever, but like eventually there's just going to be a bunch of like normal ass Captain Americas and Nightwings and Robins and Batmans and Spideys. Like they're just going to be all normal. Like, all right, here's just another iteration of it. Like it could get to that point. So like FE is still very solid. Of course, FA is like considered better, but coffee shots. Coke Bear is very historic. Very true. It's the funny thing is like it's funny you mention that because I think the Coke Bears have only been around since like the late 80s, early 90s. Like they're not that old, but they're very, I would say they're more iconic than historic because like they're like barely 30 years old, maybe 40 years old at the most. But I do remember growing up as a kid and like seeing the Coke Bears and they're like drinking Coke bottles and just like littering in the North Pole, like whatever, just throwing glass bottles in the North Pole. But yeah, they're extremely iconic. It's like one of their best marketing images that like Coke has done in a long time, like probably since the whole Saint Nick thing. Because like if you guys didn't know, at least the research I've heard from other content creators and YouTube channels and stuff is like Santa Claus like used to wear green. Like Saint Nick used to wear green. Like it was more of like a Celtic thing. But until Coca-Cola did like such heavy marketing in like the US and other parts of the world that like Santa wore red because of Coke, like eventually people just adopted it apparently and didn't really look back at like the traditional like Saint Nick, and he just was red like ever since. And so I would say since then Coke Bears probably been like their next best figurehead for like advertising and stuff. Why they haven't gone back, I don't know. I haven't seen it too much recently, at least not as much as I did like in the 90s. 3K wise, I would rather have C3PO. Where's C3PO right now? Is he around? I thought he was around 3K, but I would agree with that. Joe Blue, especially since like he or whatever the robot is, C3 should pop up now. Especially since C3PO is like, I'm just gonna type in golden moments, is like, it's part of the same set as R2D2. Mom. Cool. I think like as R2D2 gets better, I could definitely see, hello. I could definitely see, Jesus. I need to refresh my thing here in a sec. I could definitely see C3PO going up in price as well. Where did he stop at before? Everyone's so focused on R2, I think people are kind of overlooking C3PO. I think the main reason is like C3 has 50% more mints than R2D2, like that could be part of it. Yeah, he picked that 4K. He's at 3,000 right now. I mean, that's like the same amount, between that's like almost exactly like Nightwing. I think Nightwing almost pushed, like was really close to 4K, then now it's at like 3200. Yeah, so C3PO is cheaper, it's had a higher high, or like roughly the same, but it's backed by Star Wars. Like Star Wars is pretty huge. Like I still think like a lot of Star Wars fans haven't come out, and you can bet for sure like when they do release like the next series of NFTs that is Star Wars, C3PO and R2D2 will pump. They will do very, very well. I think Nightwing is, unfortunately, like in a way kind of has its heyday. And plus, like not a lot of people like know Nightwing. Everyone knows Batman and Robin and Joker and Harley and Penguin, but like Nightwing is like a grown-up version that was kind of like a later story. Like I know of Nightwing, but not necessarily. Like it's not like a mass appeal superhero. I read that Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm will be in Doctor Strange 2. Bullish on Sue Storm right now. That's awesome. I think Mr. Fantastic too. I think it's got a pretty good future ahead of him, especially if, like you said, the movie, but also like they still have to announce the Thing, Human Torch, and Fantastic Four part of that new series of the Fantastic Four, because they have Sue Storm right now, but you bet that the Marvel Mighties version, like Mr. Fantastic, is gonna like go up 50% in price because they just announced Reed Richards. Like that's a big deal. JP says, wish they had come out with a Figment NFT. People were waiting 4 hours for a Figment popcorn bucket at Epcot's Festival of the Arts. Missed opportunity. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Figment NFT. I don't know why when he said Figment, I thought of like Fig Newton or something like that. But I'm not sure what that is, Figment. I apologize. Frederick Cormont. Hello, what about the 2D Secret Rare Ultraman? What's up? Yeah, I think this is your name seems familiar. I think you were here last stream. Not very bullish on the 2D art, the posters. It feels like they've never done really well. Like every time I bought, like, other than like the independent artist stuff, for some reason, like the established IPs like 007 and like the Ultraman stuff, like I just feel like it didn't do very well. Like I'm more personally interested in like people and characters and stuff more than like posters, if that makes sense. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to take a look. Secret Rare, the poster. Let's take a quick look. Okay, went up to almost 2,000. Right now it's at 1,200. It's all right. It's actually kind of cool. It's an action figure, which is pretty sick. But regardless, I just don't know enough information about Ultraman and like that whole like dynamic of it and like the market. Plus it's a poster, so it's like, how interactive is it really? Like, yeah, like I'd much rather have, if you can afford the extra 200 gems, I would get a rare Spider-Man, but if not, like Captain America or like Steamboat Willie, they comment, like that's what I would do. And that price range, like me personally, like I'm not very bullish on posters personally. Joe Blue, I've got 160 gems spare for tomorrow's drop. I'm probably not going to get it. So what would you do with the gems? I'm leaning towards common specimen just for OpenSea transferring. Possibly. Like, what are some of the decon stuff? Like, personally, if you had only had 660 gems, like, I would just keep it and just play drops in the future. Because you never know. Like, literally on Sunday, Veve could announce the Minnie Mouse drop on Tuesday. It's 50 gems, and there's another announcement, or maybe it's a part of a series, and each drop is 50 gems. Like, I always try to have at least 100 to 150 gems left over, because you never know when a series drop is going to happen. And they cost like 50 to 60 gems each. And like, all right, I win this drop, but I want to hold this NFT. Oh God, I have no gems left for the next drop. I have to sell this thing. Like, you know what I mean? So that's just my perspective, is like, if you only have 160, I would just keep it for drops. Like, as much as like, it sucks to like want to invest and like grow that 160 into something more. Like, yeah, you could buy like, let's say an uncommon Deadpool for like 110. But if the market retraces a bit more and it goes down to 100, and it's like that for like the next week, and you just don't have enough, and like you have to sell it at a loss, plus the 8.5% tax, like it just feels terrible. So Like there's just not a ton of profit to be had with like only 160 gems, especially if it's your last 160 gems, like liquid, personally. But we'll look at the decon stuff really quick, like we might as well. How long have I been streaming for? I feel like I've been streaming for a while now. We've been streaming for, oof, what, almost 3 hours now, I think? I could be wrong. All right, we'll go ahead and head back. Let's see. But yeah, decon. I could have sworn there's last time I put in decon, it like pulled it up. Maybe not. Maybe I was imagining things. Decon. No, maybe not. If I type in dev, like devcon, because that's what it stands for, right? It's devcon. There we go, right? Is this all of it? Nah, it's just pulling up Jersey Devil and some other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I would just keep the 160 gems personally. Joe Blue C3PO is more iconic than Nightwing. That's my thoughts. Yeah, exactly. I bought twice of this. Should I sell? Oh, of the 2D rare Ultraman? Just hold at this point. Don't sell it for like a major loss. Because what's the fee? I think the fee for Ultraman 2, isn't it like 4.5%? Maybe 8.5%? Like, I don't think it's 2.5%. I could be wrong, but I think the fee is a bit higher than 2.5%. Maybe it's 4.5%. At this point, I would just hold it, dude. Like, actually, it going up to 1800s, like, not bad. I would just hold it until it goes back up. But if you have like absolutely no gems to like play any drops and like, I mean, because a lot of action could happen in the next 2 weeks and like the market could just stay the same. Like maybe selling one isn't a terrible idea and like picking up a Steamboat Willie common and then having that like 250 gems left over, 200 gems left over just to play drops. That's my suggestion. So yeah, like it's not a terrible purchase. Like again, at the end of the day, like you're gonna make profit. Like I would either wait, but if you legitimately have like no gems, maybe selling one and getting Steamboat Willie and keeping that 250 gems, 300 gems. Yeah, I'm gonna get off here in probably like 7-8 minutes at like 5:15 my time. You know, once it's 15 after the hour, I'll probably jump off because I've been on for a while and I got some stuff to do and like maybe hang out with some friends. Should I sell? Okay, JP, Figment is the purple dragon of imagination of Epcot. There's a ride there next to where the old Captain EO. It seems like gibberish to me, dude. I do like this point where it's like it's purple dragon. That sounds kind of cool, but everything else, like I've no idea. I'll have to like look it up. Maybe I'll Google it at some point after the stream, figure out what the heck that is. Frederick, okay, thanks, mate. Yeah, it is what it is, dude. Like sometimes it's not a bad investment, but yeah, like I've made some bad investments in the past and like I'm still waiting on to sell some of them. Jibble, yeah, that's a good point. I'll probably hold the gems. Yeah, that's what I would do. Remain M. Why did they put in the sorry. Do you know why they put the release of Spider-Man comics? The release date of? Do you know why they put in the Spider-Man comics 294 the release date of? I'm not sure. Don't really pay attention too much to the comics. Like honestly, I only played like half the drops of these comics. I take that back. I played all but the one like 2 days ago or something like that because I was at the gym or I was busy with something else. But like I've such the worst luck with comics. I think I've won 2 comics in the last 3 months since I've been on Veve. I do very well on collectibles as well as like the blind box collectibles and stuff. But like I've done god awful on comics, so I've kind of like given up on them a bit. So I don't do too much research into that. Hammond stacking season 1 at Mermacornos, good idea. Memacornos. Maybe for like master collector points. Like, I think that's pretty cheap, right? Like those ones. People that are trying to collect master collector points. People that are trying to get like cheap sets for master collector points. I do think the Mermacornos is like one of the cheaper ones, if I remember correctly. But like, how much is a whole set? You said Mermacornos, right? Remember Cornos? I don't even know which ones are from season 1. Like looking at this face value. Is there a different logo for? No. Maybe not. But if you're talking about stacking the cheap ones, like if you're just talking short-term flipping, it's not like terrible. The hardest one is just picking out like which one. I haven't actually ever like really looked at these too closely, to be honest. But I mean, like they're all down and like they'll all make profit eventually. I mean, if you could pick the right one, that's pretty solid. Cora's already on the way up, so good for her. Okay, so stack. Pale Stanmarik. Stanmarik? Sorry. Pavel. Pavle. Might just what? Hey, I might just start a platform to talk about. Might just start a platform to talk about so much needed content. Yeah, why not? That's what I did. Like I just did a ton of research and I felt like I knew more than like the average person. I did pretty well in the market, like doing flipping and stuff. So like, I'll just start making content, start making YouTube videos. Like I don't have like the nicest setup, but like I want to make content. So I just did it. Like you don't need the nicest setup. Like look at Randy Chavez. The dude's like in his kitchen with a fridge in the background. He's already got people to buy him like fridge space and stuff. Like he's making passive income off of just making content. Of course, he's been around for a long time. The dude's made a ton of sacrifices to get to that point. But yeah. Uncle Jay, your take on apes. I own an ape. I used to be very bullish on them, and I still kind of am. It really depends on how well they do. Of course. Maybe that's a sign for me to leave. Plus my roommate's dog is going nuts. Let's see here. Vault value is like not even accurate anyway, so let's see. Yeah, I think they could do very, very, very well off platform. Like it wouldn't surprise me if like the gold ape goes for like 4 ETH, silver ape goes for 1 ETH, and like the black and white goes for like a quarter of an ETH or something like that. The thing I do like about the apes is like I'm trying to get into the ape group. I'm trying to remember what the hell it's called. I literally just messaged a guy on Twitter about it to like join the Omikongs, which seems like a really cool group. So like just the fact that there's an organized community behind the apes and stuff like that, and like the whole ape strong and ape no hurt ape memes and all that, like it's, you know, the community's there. It's probably a little bit less than what it was during like the whole like AMC, GameStop stuff, but it's still there. So I think you can do very well. And I do think that like some NFTs, especially non-Disney, Marvel and DC, could do very well off platform, because like I think the community is so focused on those 3 big IPs that like there's a lot of sleeper NFTs that would like, people just don't know the difference, or maybe they haven't done their research and there's like, oh cool, there's this golden ape. Yeah, I'll pay 3 ETH for that, like whatever, which is much, much higher than what the price is at now, I believe. 1963, whereas the real date is 1987. Okay. Oh, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question to ask. Maybe tweet ecomi about that. I'm not sure if that's the right date. Joe Blue, it's midnight with me, so I'm off. Have a good stream. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm going to hop off in like literally 2 minutes. Frederick, or the Rare Spidey, thanks for your answer. Yeah, dude, Rare Spidey, 1,400 gems. It's very solid. Beyond it, are specimen bears coming to OpenSea? I would imagine so. Like all the independent artists seem to be pretty excited to like have their NFTs, like especially this one's on OpenSea. Not entirely sure how. I think this is Jermaine Rogers, right? I know Ron English is very excited to get his stuff on OpenSea, but I think it's Jermaine Rogers, right? I could be wrong. I forgot which one does this. As you could tell, I don't really pay that close attention to like independent artists, but I do think they could do very well op app, you know, because this looks like a 3D version of a 2D JPEG that would do like really well in OpenSea. Like, oh my god, do you remember the specimens that are like doing the crazy face thing, like 2D, like JPEG? Like this is just a 3D version of that. So like this actually kind of fits in like the meme of like, I feel like OpenSea that would do really well, at least in my personal opinion. So yeah, I think they would do very well. But are they coming to OpenSea? That's up to the independent artists. And like they haven't given any kind of like official, as far as I know, like officially like which licenses are going to be on OpenSea or Immutable X like right away. Coffee Shots, Layla is undervalued as the ultra rare Murmur Chrono. Nice. If you believe that, then yeah, hell yeah, go for it. Travis Hedrick, what are your thoughts on F.A. Robin? We talked about F.A. Robin earlier today. I think he's solid. Like, let me look him up again. People were saying he was like very overlooked. So 270, yeah. That's a pretty solid like FA in like that 300 gem range. Like, is it better than stacking like, I don't know, 5 alligator Lokis? Maybe not 5 because it's price point, so it'd be 4, I guess. Not entirely sure. Like in this price range of like 200-300 gems, I think it might service you better to like stack something rather than buy one big something, in my personal opinion. Part of me also kind of feels better doing Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, the common, because that one like was literally at 500 gems 2.5-3 days ago. And it seems like the peak of the F.A. Robin hit like 370. I'm not saying it can't hit that again, but like if the popularity of Robin hit up to like 400 or 450, like I think Zombie Hunter Spider-Man is hitting like 600. That's just me personally. So for that price point, like it's pretty good. And if you like Robin or if you're trying to complete a set or anything like that, like it's good. Kind of prefer like the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man or potentially stacking in that case. Like that would give you the higher return. It will take you a little bit longer to sell, but that's just my opinion. Both Murmur Chrono sets and No Time to Die Series 1 are the cheapest sets at the moment. And Christmas stamps. Nice. I believe so. Thanks. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for stopping by. I'm a minute over, but who cares? I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Tell your friends. I hope you guys got something out of this, and I like love doing this market analysis stuff. I don't think there's enough content creators that are like looking at the crunchy numbers and looking at the listings and comparing it to other NFTs that could do very well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. And don't forget to like, I'll do all this stuff. So see you later.